Schedule my week, bitch.
Come on, video. Don't you want to come in? There we go. There we go. We're good to go.
All right.
I'm gonna get breakfast. Doing some cleanup? What's up, people?
Oh, are we live right now?
Oh, we're live, dude. We are live. Where's my phone? Right there. Oh, there it is.
What up? We got Aang right here chilling.
Here we got my little pup. Let me send this out to Summer so he can take a look at it
Dude,
and tell
I'm
me
gonna
what.
start off with a little story about it.
Yo, please tell us.
So I was like, I think I was 12 years old, and this dog was on his, I think he was on his leash attached to the fence at the fields, and you're just talking to somebody after training, and I went and I saw this dog for the first time, and I was like, I love this dog, and I don't know what it was, and to give a little background, growing up, I never. Like in Saudi Arabia, for example. Sorry, I was born in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, like, their dogs aren't really domesticated. They're just on the streets.
That's weird.
So they're not like pets, right?
Yeah.
So, I didn't think of a dog being like a pet. And then I saw Aang, and I was like, oh my God, I love this dog. And I'll tell people, I've told many people that Aang was the first dog, like my first favorite dog.
That's crazy to me, actually.
Yeah.
Fellas, I didn't really know that. I think I did kind of know that story.
I think I told you the other day.
I think you did, but I didn't really know the importance of it, I guess. Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, this dog, like, the first dog that I would, like, think about,
He's a cool dog.
And I never saw Air Bud or any of those dog movies.
Do you want a bigger dog? Like,
No. And, because of Aang is the reason why I will forever want a small dog.
it's not really a dog.
Exactly.
It's really not. It's like a toy of some kind that's like a dog, but it's not really a dog. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
play fetch with you or anything.
I don't need that,
You may not even be able to teach him a command at all, actually. It took me about 4 years to teach him how to sit. And the funny part is like, I think he's intelligent enough to know exactly what it is that I'm trying to get him to do, but
Right.
he just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
There's
That
no
makes
fucking
sense.
care.
That
Like,
makes sense.
he knows that he shouldn't poop upstairs in my house, but he'll poop upstairs in my house anyways. He knows. And like, people are like, he doesn't know. And I'm like, you want to bet? I'll show you a thing or two about my dog. I know my dog.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Aang. And then after Aang, I think a couple years later is when my grandparents got a Shih Tzu. And then it was just more validation for me to want a little dog even more.
So you like that Shih Tzu?
He's 6 pounds. Yeah, he lives with my sister now.
The Shih Tzu is 6 pounds.
6 pounds. He's
Oh, wow.
tiny. He's
So
tiny.
like
He's tiny.
a pound bigger than this dog,
Yeah.
if that.
Yeah. And he's a little larger,
Mhm.
but he's still light as a feather.
Yeah, that's a small dog. I mean, this one, it's hard to get smaller than Aang.
Yeah.
Like full grown. This is like an 8-year-old dog.
He's got his gray hairs now.
Like, this is not a young pup. He is well traveled and well weathered.
Yeah.
He's been everywhere I can take him, to be honest with you. He'll go jump in a river and swim with us,
Yeah.
Like, no care. It's pretty impressive, too, to watch him try to stumble upon, like, giant rocks and, like, boulders and stuff. And, like, trying to, like, get where we're going, but he's just... It's such a challenge. I take a small step, he has to leap his whole body to get
Right.
there. It's just nuts. Yo, so I guess let's talk more about, like, I want to know more about where you came from. I think
Yeah,
that's a
so
cool
yeah,
story.
I touched on it. So I was born in Dammam, or really El Khobar. It's probably not how you pronounce it, honestly.
Is that in Turkey?
My Arabic has got no.
Where is this?
Saudi Arabia.
Oh, that's right. You were born in Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia.
So
That's
I was
right.
born in, I guess, Khobar. I can't really remember how to pronounce it, but like American would call it Kobar. Okay, and so yeah, I think I was born there, and then I lived in Dammam, which is, I want to say it's the largest province in the east of Saudi Arabia. It's pretty big. I live right by the ocean, so I guess really the sea. I lived there till I was 7, so I don't really have the most memories from it, but I do remember going to Bahrain, which is its own. I mean, you know what Bahrain is, but it's its own tiny little country that you can get to from Saudi Arabia on I want to say 50-mile bridge, right? 50-mile bridge across the ocean into a miniature country that you can't even see it on the map. You have to zoom in a lot in Google Maps.
How many people live there?
Oh man, Jamie, pull that up. Let's see.
I'd pay to have a Jamie right now, man.
Yeah.
If I had the money.
Let's see, Bahrain population.
That's crazy. What language do y'all speak in Saudi Arabia? Ignore my ignorance.
Arabic.
Arabic?
Yeah, it's obviously a different dialect than like Yemenis or like Persian, or I think Persian is its own language too, honestly.
That's crazy.
To
even think about.
And the Egyptians have different Arabic too. Libyans.
And do you know how to speak Arabic?
I used to.
You used to?
It was the first language I knew how to read.
Oh, interesting.
Which is, it's its own story, right? Because Arabic was the first language I knew how to read. I could speak English fluently. Like, that was the first language I could speak fluently. But I grew up learning Arabic as well. But then we moved here when I was 7, and I was so bad at reading English. Like, I was like highest form of dyslexia.
Yeah.
And it was because Arabic is written
like backwards, right?
The opposite direction.
That's so weird.
And so I like come to America, and I remember, I'll never forget it, dude. We had 10 minutes of silent reading, and the first day of 2nd grade when I moved here. And I remember sitting there for 10 minutes confused. I had a book, and I was trying to read, and it was a book I got on the airplane on British Airlines. So it was like written in its own English, you know, that you know, because if it's a kid's book, it's gonna have like.
So you didn't get put into like special classes to help
Oh no,
you
I did. Oh no, I did.
Okay.
I did. I had like every couple hours I was going to my reading teacher.
Where'd you live first?
School.
Like, did you come straight to Birmingham?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
interesting.
Because
So
my mom grew up in
That's
Birmingham
right.
as well.
Right.
And my parents met in Birmingham.
Where's your dad from?
My dad is from Turkey. So I think his family lived in Ankara, which is the capital, when he was born, and then they moved to Istanbul. Yeah. And then he moved to America, and I think when he was 17.
And
17.
How? Why? Like, what brought him here?
I want to say like his dad had a connection to someone here, and he wanted to come to school here because I want to say he did. He just didn't want to go to school in Turkey.
Your dad's like an engineer. What is your dad?
My dad does a lot. Like, I think anything that needs to be fixed, he can fix it. But now he does cars. But he worked for General Electric. Like that's why I lived in Saudi Arabia. We lived there because he worked in Saudi Arabia for GE. And like honestly, like as a child, I didn't see my dad very much. He was always traveling. Always. He went everywhere, man. I think that's what also got me so interested in geography. Because I always wanted to know where he was, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember he went to China when I was tiny. I don't even know how old I was.
I want to go there.
And I remembered, I was like, I don't know what I did, but I found out where China was, you know? And then, then it just kept going, you know? Australia, like all these, you know, countries around the world. Switzerland. I mean, he went to...
What did he do for GE?
Oh, dude. I want to say some sort of project manager kind of deal.
Gotcha.
I never really knew too much. I think he stopped working for them in like 2016 when I would have like actually gotten interested in it and like asking him questions.
That's fair.
But yeah, then he started his own business. He's just been killing it since.
That's
I
legit.
don't even think he has an employee.
Just him.
Just him.
That's
doing cars, all whole cars, getting them from auctions and stuff.
That's legit.
And
man.
he'll do like a couple a week. I think. I'm pretty sure.
Welcome to the American dream, man.
Yeah, he's a rock star.
I feel like that's part of it.
Dude, he
you know?
used to. I think he told me this story. He used to drive, like when he had first moved to America. He drove 18 wheelers.
Really?
Yeah, like on the weekends or something, and
Make
did like
money.
the night shift at somewhere else. Like he was always working, man. I remember he told me one time before I moved. I want to say it was before I moved to Minnesota. He was like, told me this story about how the first place he moved into, he had a roommate, right? And like after like a month, I think he got another job to pay for a different place because he didn't want a roommate. He's like, I'd rather live by myself. I don't want to have to.
That's funny.
And I was like, I mean,
So he moved to Birmingham and
yeah.
met your
I
mom?
think I'm pretty sure he moved straight to Birmingham. I think he lived in. He went to Troy briefly. So. Oh yeah, dude. I've been eyeing those, man.
Yes, I am pigging out right now.
Hey, there's
So-
nothing wrong with it. We can do what we want.
Get over it.
We can do what we want. I think I'm gonna move this up too.
We can do what we want. Now give me this little guy right here. Just to let everybody know how we all met, I ended up coaching soccer in a part of my life, and he was a player that I ended up. I didn't like coach him directly, I guess, but I was always indirectly there coaching him and around him, or mainly the goalkeepers or the goalkeeper coach. So I was involved with like every team. So naturally, I just started hanging out with some of the guys, and then there was the whole Wolfpack thing.
Dude,
That's such a weird.
I was
that
a
was
weird kid, man.
Such a yeah. You were a weird kid, but then again, I think about it. So was I, and so was everybody else around there too.
Yeah.
It's all weird in your own
Dude,
way.
it's kind of crazy too, though. My first year as a field player was the first year you were there, so you just missed me. Cause
Oh, you would've been a
I was a
goalkeeper.
goalkeeper. Yeah,
Oh, weird.
yeah, I was a goalkeeper until I got 3 concussions, and my mom was like, "No more goalkeeper."
So then you went on the field, and got more concussions.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. People say soccer is like a pansy sport or whatever. So like, you've never played a real soccer.
Don't play hard enough.
Yeah, you don't play real soccer then. That's just part of the game.
And it comes full circle too, man. I coach now.
That's true, and that's the way it should be. I mean, coach for as long. I hope to get back into coaching. That's not something I want to quit forever. This is like year number 2 or 3. I think I'm entering year number 3 of no soccer in my life for the first time.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't do a year.
It's so strange, but it's also really nice because I have all this time for other shit. So, so like I get to do other stuff. I could do some programming or a podcast or spend time with my daughter at night or on the weekends. I have weekends. Like the time of youth soccer is a conversation coming up in the future, but like youth soccer in America, man, that takes up so much of your time. And like the time that no one else is working and you want to go hang out with people is the time you're supposed to be coaching, because that's when no one else is
Exactly.
working. So like you only work when no one else is working, and it's horrible.
Yep. So many times I've had to especially even when I want to do something, because there's a big difference between somebody asking you to do something and then you're like, oh, thankfully I have to go.
Man,
coach
that sucks.
soccer.
I gotta
But,
coach. Yeah.
stuff you want to do, you just, oh my goodness, I missed so many concerts pre-COVID that I would have loved to see, but nope, I was coaching.
Yeah, and like my problem is as a director and under this like I'm trying to work my way up kind of idea, they expect you to be there in like
A matter of minutes.
it's
The
on
moment they
spot.
call
You're,
you.
you're like on call.
Yep.
You're almost on call as a coach. Like we just need to have you. And like a parent can just call you
Yep.
anytime
At
they want.
anytime they want. a
Doesn't
parent
matter
can call
when
you.
it happens. It can just be anytime they feel like it. And like that's cool for the one parent who's calling you.
That you
From
really
your
like to talk to.
Yeah, that's yes. But I'm saying from like their perspective, yeah, that's cool. But then from our perspective, you have 30 different kids per team or whatever, like 30 parents per team.
Yeah.
And then you have like multiple teams. You have like 60, 70. When I was working for the ECNL program, I mean, Joel literally had 100 kids.
Yeah.
So he had 100 parents, groups of parents, 200 parents, all calling and bitching about some other shit going on, And it was just like, man, I only have to deal with a couple of goalkeepers.
Right.
You've got it bad, man. This is just that part. That's probably the most wearing part on coaching youth sports.
Right.
Is the parent, and I will make sure that I am never one of these parents.
Yeah.
That
And
like
I've seen it.
text
so
their
many
children
times.
during the games to tell them all the things they've done wrong, or like badger them in the car on the way home, and like make their life just make them go run or practice after the game or something. Like I've just seen all kinds of weird shit. That part is just horrible.
Yeah, you do see a lot of
Parents, get
And
your
it's like-
shit together.
man, I hate to talk about it too because it's I want to say it's disappointing, but at the same time, it's like, what can I do about it?
There's
there-
nothing you
I-
can
I've-
do about it, really.
You cannot.
No.
You almost don't want to think about it because you'll want to say something, but you can't. There's no way you're gonna say something.
I had kids.
That is especially like you were young. You were much younger than you are. Well, I mean you were young. You were a young coach,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
The whole time you were coaching, you were a young coach.
Yes, absolutely.
And so you can't have any input in certain stuff because
No. They don't
you're
take
not
you
you're not
serious
valid
like
enough
that,
because
yeah.
you're still young, right?
Mhm.
And you don't have like the
You don't understand. Let me talk to someone older than you, kind of a thing.
I'll tell you the first like official tryout I did because I was an assistant coach before I was a head coach. The first tryout, right after tryouts, it was fine. A parent comes up to me and they're like, "So you're the one who's gonna be coaching my kid?" And I was like, "Yeah, yes, ma'am, that's me." How old are you? I was like,
Old enough.
I'm 8. I think I was 18 or 19. 18, 19. Uh-huh. And I'm standing here in this conversation just like, why? Why? why is this necessary at all?
No, 100%, man.
Oh, man.
They have
That's
unrealistic
frustrating.
expectations.
Yeah.
They don't understand sports at all. Period. Some of these parents truly know zero about youth sports, and then they try to come dictate to you how they think that things should go. And I'm like, what is happening in this conversation right now? Have you ever played a competitive sport in your entire life? One time, and no, you probably haven't. And it just bothers me sometimes. Man, I could go on for hours, and I will actually when Chase comes into town.
Oh, dude, I cannot
I'll
wait.
get into some deep conversations about that one. But just like the manipulative, behind your back bullshit that takes place is impressive with some of these parents. They will play.
They will go
whatever
over everyone's head.
whatever they have to do.
Whatever they got to do.
Scorch earth, man. This is total warfare. That's the way I see it. It's like you're playing total war in the soccer world with these parents. They will. I had parents that would literally hover behind the bench on tournaments. I could just hear them. I don't know why my daughter's not playing full 90s. I don't know why my daughter's not playing full 90s. I mean, like, you got this big golly green giant in the goal right now, and why my daughter playing full? She's only getting 45 minutes. I need full 9. I'm like, what the hell is happening right? Can someone get this guy out of here? Like, why does he get to do this?
Dude, and then it's like they're gonna try and cancel you after, dude.
Oh,
It's
yes.
like cancel culture is even in youth soccer.
There's no question, man. I got bullied around and almost fired and all kinds of stuff because someone didn't like me all the time, And I even feel bad for, like, there's one in particular family and parent that I ended up cutting every one of his kids. Like, I don't even know how this worked, but, like, I cut his daughter, and then next thing I know, I'm coaching his son's team, and I'm cutting him too. And I'm like, this is getting out of hand, man. Like, I can't. And like, she's crying, and he's crying, and like, I just have to deal with all this crap. And like, I know he hates me, and he is like almost verbally might as well have said like, I don't like you, like. So like, some parents, like, I totally see, but to a certain degree where they're coming from, and he really wasn't that bad about it. But then some parents, man, dude, I've been chewed out and told I was an idiot and all this stuff, and like, my God,
And I hate like having to try and prove that I have like the information and knowledge, but it's like sometimes you really want to because that's the only way they're gonna be quiet.
Yes.
You
have to kind of. There's a lot of times where I had to just kind of show the parents that I could play the game.
Yeah.
And then I could do these things.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get out there and play with them.
You go play with the kids in front of all the parents.
And then they see you. You just do like one flick. Just control it with your chest and that.
Yeah.
It's like stall the ball on your foot for a second.
Just juggle it for a moment, Just head it.
Or just like walk up to a kid and meg him,
I always like to dribble the whole team. Just go ahead and just make them all look real pathetic.
Oh my God.
Like the shit he used to crack me up with these parents and these players too. Like parents are so unrealistic. I always loved the parents that were like, "So we're like top tier D1." I'm like, no, you're not. Not even close, man. What the hell are you on?
That's the true entertainment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like these
you
parents,
could go home after that and be like, "Wow, that was hilarious today." With that.
Like they would get scored on like 10 times. They would make the dumbest mistakes. They would let the ball go through their legs. They couldn't catch a ball. They couldn't do anything. They can't really play the position. And like they're telling me how they want to go play D1, and I'm like, we need to chill out for a moment. You've got a lot of learning to do. That's a whole nother subject though, because then I want to get into the political side of like the structure of coaching, like the director and the actual business side of the nonprofit and how it's run and the board and each executive director and like what their roles are and how they. Oh man, this gets dark.
And then they do it differently in different places.
Yeah, every
like
club is different.
Like Rush, for example, that club as a whole.
Yeah.
They have their own entire way.
Totally different.
I almost worked for them when I lived in Colorado.
No joke. I think Chase works for Rush, didn't he not?
Yeah. Does he still not? Where does he work now? Does he work somewhere else?
I think he's in another club now.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to speak because I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I was super unhappy with the job that I had in Colorado.
You know what? I'm gonna text him right now that this is happening.
Yeah.
So he can watch it for a second.
Yeah, I was really unhappy with the job I was doing in Colorado. Right, I was a political organizer, working with a political consulting firm, so yeah, I was super unhappy at the time, and I was like, I miss soccer, right? Because I had my last concussion that ended my career in July, and this was like October, maybe November,
which is rough.
So I was, a couple months out of, I was still dealing with a lot of emotional stuff because you get concussion brain, which is emotional as a whole.
Yep.
Especially when you've had 7 of them, it gets worse every time.
Yep.
And then
I'm shocked they let you continue going for as long as you did. Sounds like my day,
And then, that was my dream. My whole dream in life was pro soccer. Like I was 14 years old, and I still firmly believed that I was never going to have to drive because I was going to be a famous soccer player and someone would drive me everywhere.
Let me ask you a question. This brings up a good question because you are like many kids in America, or in the world really, not even America, the world, especially when it comes to soccer.
Sure.
Same as me. Your whole life revolved around this sport that you knew you were really good at. We were both very talented players by all means. Mm-hmm. I guess you don't, as a kid, you don't really understand that next tier of the professional world at the time. Sure. But you have this whole goal, this whole life, everything's pushed towards it. Mm-hmm. I guess my question for you is that a good thing? And then what do you do when you see a child under you as a coach living this idea that they're going to be that great one day and everything is just about being that great? Do you support it? Or do you how do you manage that?
That's a really good question, But I think it depends on the person, and as they grow up, how they're going to be able to take it if they don't get to that. Okay? Because I'll be honest, if I was in a bad place for a while.
Yeah.
You know, when I was like done,
Yeah.
I was in a really, really bad place, and I think, obviously I'm really grateful that I came out of that place, but sometimes I feel like there's people that can't.
Yes.
And I hate to say that because I don't intend to sound like I made it, but it's a really tough reality to face.
Especially when you played at the level you played at.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the hardest part is that, like, when you play at that top tier level and you're competing against the kids that are all, like, at the top of
almost there.
The food chain. Yeah, I mean, I trained with the national team goalkeepers. I was just so close it almost hurt me,
Yep.
But you just never get, and there's all kinds of reasons for that,
Yeah.
all kinds.
Yep.
And we could dive into all of those reasons, and I blame myself for a lot of them, like I don't blame anybody else for a lot of the shit that went on. I could have been better about what I did to make myself better, but ultimately in the end, we were very close. And I think that's another part of, like, when you get to that level, everybody's that good.
Yeah.
And so now you have to do what sets you apart. Exactly. And that's really where I'm mad at myself, is that I wouldn't set myself apart because I didn't care enough. I only cared enough to get to that level, but then to get past it and become that great, that truly that national team level of skill.
Yeah.
I cared too much about, like, fun and stuff like that, But, like, you don't see it as a kid,
It takes it, but there you are. Like, it takes getting out of it to really, really see what went on and how it affected different decisions you made and your life as a whole, what it taught you. I now realize a ton of stuff that I learned, like life stuff.
Yeah.
From simply being on a soccer field.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude! I carry it into my own workspace right now as a programmer.
Every day.
I know how to work with a team far better than I think the average person who doesn't do any of this stuff does. Yeah. Come on, buddy. Yeah. And I think that being able to work on a team is so crucial because humans together are better than humans as one. There's no question to this, question. Overall, I mean, that's just why societies take things so much further than just, like, one person off in the woods, So, like, being able to do that is really important. And soccer is such a team-oriented sport.
Yep.
There's no timeouts.
Nope.
There's no real plays other than the set plays that take place in these rare moments. Otherwise, it's just put the ball on the field, and now 11 of you have to work together to put this thing in a goal against 11 other people.
Yep.
And there's nothing more team-like, because football, it's like, let's line up. We have everything planned out.
Coaches play a way bigger role.
They play a huge. Everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to do. There's no creativity in a sense. The quarterback kind of does, and some of the players can, but ultimately in the end, it's very scripted. Yeah. And soccer, it's the most unscripted thing that
so natural.
I've never been scored on for the same thing twice. Yeah. It's almost impossible. Yep. You'll never see the identical thing happen twice. Nope. It just won't. So you have to be ready for, like, anything. And that's what was so cool to me on the team aspect of, like, once you're, and you know this because you've been a part of so many teams and now you're coaching them, so you're a part of more teams. You're just on a different level of that, how that team works and how you're managing in the team. You play more of a managerial role now of, like, commanding it, a captainary role, when you may just play another role in the team. Right. You may just be another person that's playing your role. Right. So, like, there's all these different aspects, but to me, that will take you so far in life, man. No doubt about it. Yeah. It's cool.
And, you were talking about what you felt like was the demise, right? Yeah. For me, it seemed like my passion for it is what ended up being, the most costly thing for me, because I was an extremely
I can actually
the soccer that
I have a story about this
the
one
soccer
for you.
that I played was very, I would consider, Irish, Scottish-esque, along with Turkish. You were very rough, tough.
You were reckless.
Yeah, I was reckless. Oh,
and that's the problem that I had with it.
Yeah.
was that it wasn't even that you were on the field that was reckless. The one thing that pissed me off about you when you were playing, and I knew you just got to learn your own lessons. I hated that it was going to have to happen to you, but the fact that you wouldn't want to stay out because of an injury.
Yeah.
You thought, I'm good, I need to go back in. And this is a very common misconception for youth athletes.
Yeah.
They don't realize, no, you're not. Shut up and sit down.
That's one thing I've become think about as a coach. Think about. If you're hurt, you are not going to play
it's
right
for
now.
them. I'm not punishing you.
Yeah.
I'm just older, and I get it, and you don't.
And it's interesting you say that, man, because I had many coaches that wanted me back on the field.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And my mom.
No, it's horrible.
I remember my mom being so upset.
Yeah, it pisses
There
me
was
off.
this one dude. There's this one. I think it's my freshman year of high school. Saturday, I got the concussion.
Was this club?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played the rest of the game Saturday. Knew something was up.
Yeah.
But knew my coach would have been upset. Sunday, played 90 minutes.
Yeah, it should never have happened.
Tuesday at school. No, Monday, go to school. Tuesday, go to school. Tuesday at practice, I get home. No, I don't get home. I get in the car with my mom. And I just start crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, I can't think. I did nothing those 2 days at school. I did nothing for months after that at school. I went to the, I had a concussion.
Yeah.
A teacher didn't believe me.
Course,
my science teacher
Yeah.
didn't believe me.
Interesting.
Failed that class.
Yeah.
Both semesters freshman year.
Yeah.
Had to do summer, just this downward spiral.
Yeah.
That could have been prevented if I'd gotten off the field.
Yeah. Well, and this is the problem, man, is that there's been an expectation that if you get injured, you're weak.
Right.
And you're letting people down because coaches can't have that. And you were a key player. You were a really talented player on your team. You were key, and y'all were going after championships. So there's something on the line here, and you're going for college scholarships, and your coach wants to keep his job, so he has to win, and all kinds of things are taking place.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of this pressure on these coaches to be like, no, you're okay.
Right.
You're okay, When in reality of things, maybe you are, but you really want to, I guess, really where it all came from in my head, I suddenly started to realize, and I don't even know where it happened, this is a child. They don't know. And we're controlling their whole future by the decisions that we make for them today. So we have to be mindful that if they need to take a week off for an injury, then fuck. They need to take a week off for an injury.
Yeah.
And that's not the biggest deal because guess what? They're kids.
Mm-hmm.
They will recover from that in a heartbeat. It's not like being an adult where a week off is like 5 weeks off and as an adult. Yeah. As a child, that's nothing. You might as well have not even taken it. I remember at ODP, they were like, you need to take 4 weeks off from soccer every year, guaranteed. Go run and jog, whatever. Just don't touch a ball. There's reasons for that. There's science behind this that is, you just need to get away for a minute.
It's so fascinating you say that, man, because quarantine happened, right?
Yeah.
Middle of the season.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't get a state cup, didn't get this.
Yeah.
Dude, the team, so this is the team I coached last year.
Yeah.
Come start of the season this year. Dude, some of those players, I had never seen so much passion from them.
Yeah.
Because it was like they really had to miss it to know that it was really something they wanted to do. And
you want to keep the crave alive.
Now I think about the things I'm passionate about. The things I'm really passionate about, I don't spend all my time doing.
No.
Because I lose the passion.
You'll burn it. You'll burn it right out.
And then I go back and think about my last couple years playing soccer. I burned myself out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So my demise of it was really inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
It
usually is. It's usually brought on by ourselves.
Yeah.
And we don't know until it's too late.
But I'm glad
No, it all works out in the end. If you're meant to go play pro, you'll go play pro. Yeah. I've also realized to a certain degree, most of the kids, ahead of time who's going pro.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just know.
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you right now, Chris Richards, who plays at Bayern Munich, Yeah, I remember sitting with him one day when we were watching national team. He's like, "I'm gonna be there. You're gonna see me." And I remember looking at him and be like, "Holy shit!"
I actually might. Yeah,
I kind of believe him. I believe this guy.
Yeah.
And then we were like 15, dude.
Yeah. And I think players like us were borderline players.
Yeah.
If maybe we had a little bit more passion like they did, we could have taken the next extra level and the next step, and you could have controlled it a little bit more and not been so wild. You just always had to play, and you always had to play the hardest you could possibly play.
Yeah.
You know? And I just didn't give it that 110% that the next level requires.
Yeah.
I gave it 100, but you need 110 when you want to play pro. And I wasn't willing to do that. And I think school pissed me off because if you don't make the grades to go to college, to go play for a good college.
I was totally fine not getting good grades as long as I could play soccer.
See, at my time, there were no options.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
You don't make the grades, they don't even talk to you.
Yeah.
This is it. It's done for you. You know, there's more of a route today to a certain degree.
Well, and that's why I didn't want to go D1.
Yeah. Well, and that's
because I knew I would not.
Well, and now that I look back, I think college is the worst system ever.
100%.
And that D1 soccer is really, my athletes are going to be bigger and faster than your athletes, and I'm going to kick it down your throat, and my guy's going to outrun your guy, and then he's going to kick it harder than your goalkeeper can handle.
And then I'm going to make sure he's got better grades than everybody else.
Yes, 100%. And then he has to have straight A's.
And he has to have.
He has to have a 4.0.
The team needs it.
Yes, 100%.
It's a necessity for the team.
None of this shit makes sense.
It's like, what?
None of this shit makes sense. It's the worst soccer.
Are they soccer players? Or are they
They're
something else?
4-year robots.
Exactly.
You know? And it's the worst. Then you wonder why, after 4 years, our pro system's shit. Wow, it's because
we have a draft.
Yeah.
It's not the NFL, man.
Yeah.
They're 20. They're 21. They already blew through their best years to play.
Yes, 100%. Europe has the best system for pro soccer. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's a tiered system.
Well, but also the MLS is messed up, dude. There's no promotion.
That's true. Yeah, well,
because it's literally a marketplace, right?
Yes.
Like I was talking about this with Alexios a couple days ago, right? Basically, it's set up to where you just buy the club.
Yeah.
So it's not like in England where you get new owners and stuff. It's like somebody owns the total franchise of FC Dallas, of New York Red Bulls, of da. And it's like that's their business. It's not like they just own the club and they do other stuff.
This is so crazy. Do you know why we do it this way?
Dude,
is it really just for because these guys have a lot of money?
It's sports in America. It makes sense. It makes sense with sports in America.
Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, I think we're the only country that has a draft in any sport. Do they have like drafts for basketball in Europe? No, they play at the youth. They play at a youth program somewhere else, and then they come there, or they play at that youth program and they play there. It's the same way that soccer works.
Yeah, but you say you like the draft.
No, I don't say I like the draft. I don't like the draft.
You don't like the draft?
No. I hate the draft. I think it's stupid.
So you would go away with the draft?
I'll go the way with the draft. Because also, that's how you work your rank, right? That's how you, like players in Europe, right?
Yeah.
They start out making, a 150K salary, right? And they gradually go up if they get traded or they, go to different places, sign new contracts. With the drafts, right? All these kids that get drafted in America, in any sport in America, like in the NFL, in the
$10 million,
they get
guaranteed.
drafted for boatloads of money, and then they're
garbage.
They always decline, dude.
Yeah.
There's probably only a handful of athletes that pays increase, like LeBron James. Not that many other athletes go that much up after they've been drafted.
Yeah, it's actually
comparatively.
A lot of them don't,
because
especially in the NFL.
And if you're comparing Premier League players, you could be at Fulham and you're making $2 million, and then next thing you know, Man United buys you for 55.
So in my opinion, America will never be good at the global stage of soccer until we fix the system.
Yeah.
So why do we care what the coach is? Who the coach is?
Dude, why is that such a big deal?
We blame it on the coach.
We blame our
everything
whole
on the coach.
entire youth program on who's coaching the national team.
That makes no sense.
What?
I've never heard.
How does that guy? He's what is he? A dictator?
I don't know, dude.
How does he control all of
know.
soccer in America?
Nothing makes sense to me about the whole system. I'm like, why is that dude?
It's like the president. You blame everything on that guy because he's who we think runs it.
He should just be running the soccer team.
Yeah. He should just be running those 18 players.
We should
That's
maybe have a board of people that do the system. Maybe we don't even need that. Maybe we just need to do away with all these people and just have the dude coach the national team.
Maybe we do it like America as a country, right? Where we have people who support another person, and then they control that a little bit, and then they control that, and then it gets bigger, right?
Yeah, but then theoretically he would control everything.
Oh, wow. You brought me back. I really didn't know that much about this topic.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, so you have your national team, but then you need this is like the big problem, I guess, all right? With our system, at least. I haven't really thought about other systems, and I don't know how Spain works, for instance, but you have a national team, and you want the best 20 players to be on that team in your country, right? So you got to find you really what you want is you want a system that's going to develop kids from the youth up to make the best players so that one day you funnel them into this one national team. You know? So like you want a bottom up approach to making sure that you're really, that's why I've always said your 5, 6, 7 to 10-year-old range of coaches is actually your most important coach. Those should be your best coach. 100% that should be the best coach because they're teaching them the foundation and the groundwork for what is coming to the future. A U18 coach actually shouldn't do that much coaching. They should do a lot less coaching.
They need to.
They shouldn't do, and it's not really much technical work.
That's why they call it a manager.
They become more managers at the U18 level. But by the time you're a DA, the DA doesn't exist really anymore, but by the time you're at that top tier U18 level, your team's playing with fluidity and you don't need a coach to start dictating everything to you like you do at the younger levels. And you don't need them to teach you how to pass the ball anymore. We're talking about next level. How are we pulling off this win at a full level of like, here's their team, here's our team, what's our formation, how do we want to proceed forward, how hard do we want to press, how hard do we want to do these things, you know? So like that part's already been done.
Sure.
So like the kids are the most important and that top down. So that's why I say like, I think that you would want to have a board of people, of coaches. Now, who these coaches are, that's the hard part here. But they are the ones trying to oversee the whole landscape, and then they hire out a coach for the national team. Because you just, in my opinion, I just want that guy worrying about winning that team. Yeah. He shouldn't be worrying about the U5 kids coming up in the system in 30 years from now. You know, like you may never see that kid.
But honestly, right now, that's some big worry. You know how many horrible coaches I've seen that coach anywhere from U7 to U13. You know how many awful, horrible, not even just coaches.
Well, this is why I think you need to have standardized clubs in each. You know, like we need a bigger.
Some of these clubs don't hold their
EC now
accountable.
Is pulling off a really, really well put together, nationwide thing.
Yeah, I'd agree, but.
And if they could just find a way to come together with the U.S. national program and standardize how things go in their tiered system and like what coaches need to be, like you need to be at a certain level. This is why some of the guys at Busa didn't want the DA to come in. It's because they couldn't have coached for the DA. I think the DA was a really good idea that was too strict. It was like militarized, and state by state does things so differently that you put in the high school game and like. You totally. Now I think high school is a waste of our time, 100%. But kids want to do it. Yeah. I wanted to do it.
I wanted to.
I get it. You want to go dominate.
You're
a baller,
time. Dude. I'm so fond of those memories.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I loved it too.
I never hated even losing. I kind of just would laugh when we would lose because I'd be like, "Too bad my team."
Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, we would play like 32 games in the spring season, and only like 5 of them counted because it was an area game.
Let's just open the door up to what it's like to play high school as a club player.
Oh my God,
it's a joke.
It's a joke.
It's comical.
It's comical.
And you just go to enjoy it because you know you're gonna ball out.
And you get a free class, dude.
Yeah, that's true too. You do get a free class.
I was done with school by.
That's true too,
by like
man. Totally agree
2:30.
with that. Yes.
And
you stay in shape.
And I was going and playing the thing I enjoyed most, like.
Dude, 100%.
I didn't have to take a class for it. Thank you.
But you're not going to go get better.
No.
You're not going to go over there to go get recruited.
No.
You're not going over there for any of these reasons. It is purely social. It is purely school. Like, there's political reasons behind this more than anything.
To get people from your school to come watch your games.
Yeah, dude. Way more people come to.
Fun. Yeah, because
I loved going to the Mountain Brook games, dude. Everybody went to those games sometimes. You know, like they were fun games.
And then I would go to the girls' games and I would grill out on the. I would take the parking spot and like park halfway out, and I would grill.
I tried to talk kids out of playing high school for a while, and I realized I'm not doing that. I need to stop. I totally get why. I even wanted to. You can't stop this. Go have your fun. I wish you could do both at the same time. Yeah. I guess that's where I've come to. Is like, I wish we could just do both at the same time. And if I was a high school coach, I'd say, just come to our games, Slim. Yep. Practice with your club team all you want. I don't care. Just come play our games. Yep. I wouldn't care because club players are it. And you win state championships about how many club players you have on your team. Yep. In the story.
On end of conversation.
There's no way you're going to win a state championship and have less club players than the other team.
Yep.
There's no way.
Yep.
Unless you have like national team kids that are like 3 or 4 of them. Right. Compared to like 10, you know,
or some international kids.
Or some international, but like even then, dude, an Oak Mountain girls team was like 11 club girls of ECNL.
Yeah, same with the boys.
It was insane.
Every single player played at Vestavia or Busa.
Went to freaking Oak Mountain, I feel like, for a while.
Yeah.
And every time I watch one of those, I'm like, this is like watching a club game.
Yeah.
These guys are like club players. Oh, yeah. This is ridiculous.
Dude, we have, I mean, and that's why when I played at Mountain Brook, we got so close. We had some of the better, you know. But, you know, we still had to start 3 kids that were on, you know.
They became fun.
3rd teams at Trussville.
That was a good time.
You know?
Yeah, those were some good times.
But like you'd still love those guys,
oh, man. You know,
they were probably the more fun ones off the field.
Yeah, by far. And you know, look, you go play.
Those are my best. I still talk to those guys.
Absolutely. You know? And you don't go play high school for the competitiveness.
No.
You go because it's fun.
Yep.
Period. Yep. That's all you want to play high school for is because it's fun. And if you get to win a state championship and it gets a little competitive at the end, yay! That's great.
Like I resent playing it because I didn't win the state championship. Dude, you know what's funny? I'll tell you a funny story about one of my last high school soccer game I played. Okay? Semi-final of the state tournament. We played against Vestavia.
Oh, wow.
This is my senior year. Dude, in the first 5 minutes of the game, oh my God. I'm playing striker, okay? And I get a lobbed ball over my head, and it's just me and the last defender. And I like lunge out to control it and bring it down. As I'm lunging with this leg, my left leg gets taken out from under me.
Yeah. And
I land straight on my asshole.
Oh.
And I got a hemorrhoid the size of a golf ball. And I remember, dude, oh my God. It was one of those things, you hit the ground, right? And you know something's
You knew instantly.
off.
Yeah,
I knew. I felt like I pooped.
Yeah.
I just fell and just let it out.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things I was like, but like in my head, I'm like, fuck, you gotta get up right now or else somebody's gonna think something happened and then they're gonna ask you and then you're not gonna know what to tell them because you're not gonna tell them that your
butthole.
Your guts are out of your butthole right now. And
love it. Absolutely.
I like have to get up and then I'm like clenching my cheeks and that like while running. And, you know, if you clench your cheeks, you can't, like, your knees are kind of locked.
Yeah.
So my knees weren't really, like, going up and
down.
Yeah,
you look constipated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of was, like, running like a penguin.
Yeah, like waddling more.
horrible. Probably the worst game I've ever played. Awful game. But halftime rolls around, because this was early in the game. Halftime rolls around, and I'm like looking at the trainer, kind of. She can tell, everybody can tell I'm off.
Yeah.
And then I look at the bench. I go to sit down. And the moment my butt hits like the metal, bench, I stood up. I was like, I cannot sit down right now. It is impossible for me to sit down. And then I look at the trainer again. She's like, no.
So you ended up finishing that game.
I'm good. Yep, played 45 minutes, actually. Didn't come off. Played, like, horrible. Like, I couldn't really run.
Yep.
My knees weren't going above
I don't know
hip.
why you continued to play.
Because I was a dumbass, man. I was reckless.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was so afraid to show pain. Because when I was little, I got hurt all the time. And I hated myself for it.
You were very accident prone.
Like, I was such a bitch about it.
You went into...
I dislocated my shoulder the first competitive game I played.
Why don't you just accept it and move on,
Dude, because I loved it so much.
That's true.
It was worth it to get hurt, honestly.
You were accident prone.
Yeah, really.
But then I always like to look back. You just throw your body into shit.
My first concussion, I was 10 years old, and it was a metal stud in my forehead.
My God, dude.
And then people ask me why I'm crazy.
Yeah. It's funny to me because, like, as a goalkeeper, I'm supposed to throw my body into stuff.
Well, I was a goalkeeper.
That's true. You were when you were younger. But even when you played on the field, like, you were balls to the wall.
Yep. I mean, that's what ended my career. Have I told you this one? It's the semifinal of the conference tournament in Duluth.
Yeah.
And it was like my first. I think it was one of my first.
Were you on the team that went for that miracle run?
Yeah. I was on the team.
Yeah, when y'all went down to, like...
We went to Miami.
Y'all went to Miami?
Is the game
Dude,
before
that's hilarious.
This is the game before Miami. I couldn't go to Miami because of this.
What a great story. You know what? Now I want to text Joel and tell him to watch this
I'm gonna call Joel here really soon and see if I can set up a Zoom
I probably forgot to text him back the last time he texted me.
Dude, I feel like I did the same thing, honestly. It's... You and I both know it's a lot harder to keep in touch with people when they're not close. I feel like I talk to the people more that live closer, and it's not in any negative way, obviously, but
no, man. Like, I always feel bad because there's a bunch of people in Tampa, Florida, that I was really close with. Right? Yeah, I went to mainly the people I'm talking about more than anything, because like Brandon, who I should text him right now too. Mm-hmm. I just chatted with him the other day. Like, we went to film school together. Mm-hmm. And I still chat with him. Shit, Mallory and I flew out there and saw him and hung out with him in L.A.
Really?
Yeah, he lives out in L.A. So we roamed around L.A. and Santa Monica and all that area with him for Venice Beach and shit. It was awesome. But there are some people, but he's made an effort. Right. And like we both have kind of made an effort.
Mutual and reciprocated efforts.
It goes both ways. It goes both ways.
So crucial.
And I think there's a soccer group that I was also very close with, and somehow that just kind of died away.
Sure.
And they
tend to.
That is a soccer thing. That is a soccer world thing, But funny story, the guy I worked for in Tampa, Florida in college, this would have been like 2009 to 2012. I worked for a private training company down there for a guy named Scott Bauer.
You told me about this.
So awesome experience.
Yeah.
One of the best bosses and people to ever work for, and one of the good ones in soccer, and there's very few of them. Very, very few, but he is one of the good ones from what I remember then. This is like 10 years ago. But shockingly enough, I have one of my friends from college calls me, and he's a pretty talented player. Played internationally, shockingly enough. I always laughed that like one of my friends actually played internationally. Yeah. Like he did. I think he played in like an actual international tournament for Guam. And
no kidding.
Oh yeah, dude. Like against like China,
Wow,
like this is like awesome. It was a really awesome. It's just funny, I guess, knowing him. I'm like, Connor, what? Like I can't believe it, Yeah, but at the same time, what a cool experience. Anyways, Connor calls me up one day. He's like, hey, what was the guy's name you worked for? And I was like, Scott Bauer. He's like, that dude just hired me to come work for him in Cincinnati
No
for a
way.
club. So now he works for him currently,
wow.
right now.
Dude,
Yeah.
Such a
Small world, right?
man.
I was like, what the hell? So that was a really cool thing.
You want to know a small world, man? I coach my 6th grade English teacher's daughter.
Your 6th grade English teacher had a daughter, and now you're coaching her.
Yeah.
She must be kind of young.
Huh?
I guess she's younger.
What, the teacher?
Yeah, the teacher.
I don't know. I don't know how old she is.
It's just weird.
She's so cool.
Is
She was one of my favorite teachers too, which is crazy. And
That's
she's
cool.
you know.
That's really cool.
That's-
That's
and
just, isn't it wild? Like like I know you may coach my child.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, and I think my brother had her when she was pregnant with.
Oh, weird.
Isn't
Wait,
that
hold on.
weird?
I want to hear the story about Duluth.
Oh
in the-
yeah,
in the-
yeah,
in the
yeah,
soccer
yeah.
story.
Okay, so, oh my God, I didn't play much, right? I got to Duluth like a month and a half.
Yeah.
After the season started, so
Yeah.
I really had to work my way. I was on the reserve squad.
Yeah.
And then work my way up. And I also was like, I was working on a political campaign, and I was doing a 9 to 5 at an antique store there.
Yeah, what a weird time in life.
I did a lot. I did so much stuff when I was out there.
That's cool,
mean-
though. That's what you should do.
But yeah, I was, so semifinal of the conference tournament. If we win this, we go to Miami and play in the national tournament. So I come in. I want to say, I can't remember. I got concussed that day. I don't really remember that too much, but it was, stuff was filmed. So, I think it was like 60th minute I came on, and I came on playing holding midfielder. And, I was an outside back. I was a true outside back. That was, my position. But, I liked the holding midfielder role. It would get me a little dizzy, but, I knew how to work it, right? And, I was pretty good in the air. I did not lose challenges. Defensive minded. So, I'm marking this dude. Like, in my head now, I've called him that. Like, he's this 6'8", gotta be Slovenian, Eastern North Europe, right? Gotta be like a national player. Yeah. This guy was one of the most technical but biggest athletic people, like, it was crazy. And I was marking him, giving him a tough time, like, really, really messing with him, like, on throw-ins, corner kicks, goal kicks, just, like, messing with this dude. Because I was a kid with headgear that looked insane. I wore my socks down here because I thought I was badass, because, everybody's wearing their socks up to, like, their knees nowadays. And I just was like, thought it was cool. There was a couple pro players that did it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then all black cleats, which is not common in today's
Classic.
world, right? So I like to try and intimidate and get in people's heads. And I believe it was a goal kick, right? We're tied up. It's like 3-3. Really important time, right? I think it's like 86th minute. Go up for a header on a goal kick. And I give the dude a shove him, like elbow, as I'm about to go up. I win the header, but, like, I got a shove because I think I was behind him when I went up for the header. And then I got a shove because he pushed me that way. And I, like, landed on my head or, like, my chest or something. And he stepped on my head. And then, right. And then next thing I know, I'm trying to find my headgear and put it back on. And then I just start running. And then I look down and I'm missing a shin guard. I'm like, where the fuck did my shin guard go? And then full time, right? 90 minutes goes. So it's overtime, right? We got 2 5-minute halves. Right, and if it's still tied up, PKs. So I tried really hard not to show any signs. When full time ended, because I was like, we're gonna go and win this game.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna bitch out. I'm gonna finish this game.
Yeah.
I came on.
What was
I'm
the
not-
score at this time?
3-3.
3-3.
Played the first 5. And the whole time I'm like, really starting to get out of it.
Yeah.
And starting, it's a little bit more difficult to stay completely engaged. I'm like, I'm sitting real deep, just playing balls to the outside back and the center back. I'm not even looking to turn.
Yeah.
And
You're
go
going
forward.
like autopilot.
I'm just like soccer, touch, pass, move, space, right? And then, so it's still 3-3. And the game was slow. It was slower pace. It was summer, really hot. Like everybody's fatigued, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I come off the field and I look at Coach. I look at Joel, and I'm like, and then I go and sit down next to the guy that we're gonna put on because we had talked about it and with Joel, I think, and I went up to this guy Ricardo, and I was like, "Yo, like you got this, man. Like this is your time. This is your time, right?"
Yeah.
Because I think he had scored like 5 goals in like 2 games.
Oh wow.
First 2 games.
Yeah.
And then he
Never
got
did
injured.
anything. Yeah.
No, then he got injured.
Oh, okay. Shit. Okay.
like-
that sucks.
Meniscus something.
Yeah.
Whatever. He was in like a brace the whole time I knew him, pretty much.
Yeah.
And training, he would wear a brace, whatever. And I gave him some words of wisdom and some thought, and like was really emotional doing it because I knew the moment I walked off that field, that was the last time I was ever gonna be on a field, competitively.
Yeah.
And so I chatted with him, like you got this, whatever. He comes on. Half ends, right? So we go PKs. He made the winner.
Yeah. That's badass.
And then I cried, dude.
That's
I
badass.
cried so much. Dude, I was in tears for days, man. For 2 reasons,
Yeah. Why?
Because I was so glad that he got that opportunity.
Yeah.
That was really where it came from. Like, because at the time I was happy with it, because I was happy for the team. I was really happy for the team.
It sucks. Like I see
we
why it
worked
sucks.
we were training at like 5:45 in the morning every morning, going hard, man.
Can I tell you, I don't
And
miss
we
those
go,
days.
and then we go to the gym right after we trained. We would like grab some food that we had brought, like I'd like pack a lunch essentially.
Yeah.
Go to training, eat, work out in the gym, go, and then I was going and working my 9 to 5, and then going and working on the campaign, and like all of these are the coolest guys I ever met. Like I got pretty close with the 2 Jamaicans, and this dude from Scotland, a dude from Liverpool, like all these people from all these walks of life that were so cool, and I was so happy for them.
Yeah, it's the experience more than anything.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah. Dude,
And like that's just life telling you you're done.
yeah.
You don't need you're not.
It was a great parting.
Yeah.
You
You don't need to be doing this anymore. Really, it's kind of that time. Yeah. That's fair, dude. Life tells you funny things in funny situations.
Yeah. And also too, like that was my last. Everything I had worked for. Because my big thing was like I had a lot of guilt about the money my parents put into soccer for me, and that was something. It took me that probably of like the healing processes of that.
Yeah.
That was probably what took the longest.
Yeah, but think about it this
You
way.
know?
This is why my dad told it to me, because I brought this to his attention at one time.
Uh-huh.
Like, you spent ungodly amounts of money on my fucking soccer career. All the trips, all the hotels, all the gas. Just name it. We're not even talking about the fees. Those are
That's
one
a
time
whole
at
nother
least,
thing.
which is, itself. Anyways, and he was like, well, think about it this way, Chaz. You coach. You make money. It's something that you get to make money from now.
Yeah.
So all that money I put into you in soccer is now getting a return in your life.
Yeah.
And he made it's a really good point that like
Yeah.
now you always have a fallback career now.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always get a soccer job.
Mhm.
You'll always have that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what happens to you in your life, you'll be able to coach soccer.
Yeah.
So like you were given a talent. They paid for you to have an education and a talent.
Yeah.
And now you have an avenue for that talent,
Yeah.
you know? So, like, to a certain degree, you're not wasting that money at all. You're actually putting it more to use than most people are.
Right.
You know? Like,
Right.
some people just quit. That's the end of it. And all that money really doesn't do anything, you know? I'm going down that road now. But I did spend 10 years coaching that sport pretty much. So, to a certain degree, I'm like, I don't feel too bad.
Yeah.
It got me through a lot of rough times.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, dude.
It's just crazy. It's
Great. So good for character development.
no doubt. And I guess I go back to that whole, like, the kid who thinks he's going to go pro.
Yeah.
Most kids don't. I hate
Yeah.
watching these kids because I'm like, you're about to get your ass torn up, just like I got tore up, just like so many other kids get tore up. When you finally do realize that you're not gonna make what you thought you were.
And you really see that when you coach too.
Yes.
Because I've definitely had those players that really want it, but they don't. They don't choose to know how to get to it. Does that make sense? Like, they, I'm sure they know what they can do. They don't make that effort.
They like the idea. But
That's
they're not
the big
willing
thing,
to do what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
I was borderline that child, like where I almost gave it what it needed, but I didn't, and that was on me, to a certain degree. And I see it with a lot of kids. I see it with a ton of them. And the older you get, the more you start to be able to just see, like, God, you have a lot of talent, but you will never play pro because I just don't think you're ever going to get your shit together, Or you just see some kids are like, man, you really have the mentality and you're going to work your ass off, but you ain't ever going to be good enough. Sorry. Like, it sucks, dude, but, like, you don't have the mentality, Or, like, really the body. Is really there's a physical limitation to sports,
100%.
and people like to believe that it doesn't exist, but it is absolutely there. And like, can you train? I became a believer.
You think you can train it out though?
To a certain degree, I think you can, but I think the child still has to have some kind of, not only mentality, but like some potential in the body, but like definitely mentality for sure, because like a very small human being that's like 3 feet tall. No matter how hard you work, you're never going to go play soccer. It's just going to be, like, impossible, Like, this will never... But, like, all right, here's my example. Chase, who you know very well, and I can't wait to have the conversation with him, came into my soccer life at about, I guess I would have been 6th grade, 7th grade range, right in there.
Okay.
All right? And I'd already been playing for years. This is just another year, another team.
Was this his first year?
This is his first year. Dude, for a true story, when he first walked up, we were getting a new coach for the first time, who ended up being Andrew Brower. We were getting a new coach for the first time, and we all stood up as a team. And this is when I played at Vestavia at the time. Yeah. And we all stood up as a team as he was walking up because we all thought, this is him. This is the coach. And then when he finally got up to us, like, wait a minute, this dude's maybe our age. Wait, hold on. Like, what's going on?
This man already had a mustache.
Oh, man. He'd been shaving since, like, 5th grade, man. Like, this guy, like,
that's hilarious.
Already looked like an adult to us, So, anyways.
That's hilarious.
And he knows how I've talked about him before. It's like one of the worst players I've ever watched at the time. Comical, and I truly believe he would toe ball it.
Yeah.
He looked uncoordinated. He stepped on everybody's foot, and like no one wanted to go 1v1 against him because you just know you're about to get just tore up with his cleats. Like those cleats are gonna munch all over you, Yo, it was horrible, and I really thought like, there's no way this guy's gonna be good enough, coach. Like, what are you doing? And I remember leaving Liberty Park multiple nights where my coach, Brower, would be sitting with him. And this is back, I don't want to get too into that old story, but like at that time in life, I think that was one of the better coaches out there, especially for youth kids. And he would stay like an hour after practice with Chase, trying to get him to correct things. And I'll tell you right now that kid today should have gone pro. He should have gone pro. That dude was unbelievably talented when we got up into the later high school years. But that progression, I never thought that was physically possible during the time I saw it. I remember Rob Walker and like other coaches being like, you can't practice with us today until you go get 20 juggles. And get out of here.
My God.
And he would have to go to the corner of the complex and go try to juggle 20 times. And then when he'd come back, he'd be like, all right, show me you've done it.
Show me your 20 juggles now.
Because he was the
He's
only
like, oh
one.
shit, I gotta actually do it now.
Because it was like, ninth grade, and he was starting to kind of get good, but he still can't juggle, and we've all been playing for a while, and we can just juggle 20 times, and he still can't quite do it that well. Yo, it was a rough road for Chase in the early days. Rough road. But then
That's why he's so strong, man.
Oh, dude. And his dad.
Oh, yeah.
His dad's
Dude, you know I
old school.
repped with his dad when I was like 15.
Oh, I'm sure everybody's rep with that dude.
Dude.
And I'm sure he's refs your game, too.
Dude, I'll never forget it, man. This man pulled out his vape out of his
Yeah.
referee shirt pocket and just started hitting it. And I was like, there's kids there, and there's kids there, and there's parents there, and he doesn't give a fuck.
No fucks
This
given.
man just pulled his vape out
No
of
fucks
his
given.
referee
Yo, awesome.
shirt pocket. And you know what was right there? The U.S.
The
Youth
Federation,
Soccer
yeah.
Federation badge, and he just pulled it out. Oh, my God.
Yeah, man. He was hardcore. Like, though, he was
Legit
hardcore, But Chase, to me, like, once he made that transition, it was sophomore year was a big change. Junior year was like oh man. And his senior year and freshman year in college were like coming out years, in my opinion. By the time he was a sophomore, junior, the dude was talented on the field. Don't get me wrong. Like, he could play with anybody. But then there was some change that took place, I feel like, by the time he was a senior. And that dude should have gone pro. And that just is crazy to me. And it always made me think, like, sure, you work hard enough, and I've seen it. You work hard enough, and you can physically alter how and you could become. Now, I think he had, athleticism built into him. He had a good frame. He's got a good body. The whole thing will work out for him if you work hard enough. There are some people who are like I saw some really bony kids. You work hard enough at something, man, you can pull off some miracles in this world. It is crazy to watch. So I think a lot of these kids could, but the problem is that you need the physical drive and you need the mental drive, and those two usually never line up with each other in a child. Yeah, and they need to be just right. Yeah, and you only see a certain amount of kids who ever just get that just right. And you usually can spot these kids.
And even some that are pro don't have that.
No, some guys are pros just because they just were naturally gifted. Yeah,
dude, I think about the difference between Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Okay, that's like the biggest argument in soccer for the past 9 years. Yeah. Messi was born to play soccer. Ronaldo trained to be the best soccer player in the world.
That's fair. Yeah. I can see that. Yes.
If you look at, you could even look at their builds. Yeah. Be like, that makes sense. Yeah. Ronaldo looks like the Hulk. And Messi, is
designed.
Just designed to
be a
maneuver.
To be a dribbler.
And literally like dribble under defenders. Where does he pull half of that stuff out?
He is a mastermind at touching the ball with his feet.
Mm-hmm.
There is no better dribbler. I'll debate you that Ronaldo and Messi are about the same level of skill overall. Mm-hmm. But they both do individually things way better than each other.
Ronaldo can shoot from 50 yards out.
Yeah. Messi can't shoot quite as well as Ronaldo can shoot. And can't precisely hit a ball.
Free kick style. Ronaldo strikes it. Messi spins it. They're different. They're totally different players. One's right-footed, one's left-footed.
But
stop comparing them.
On the dribble.
Oh, Messi all day.
There is nobody better than Messi on the dribble.
His body's designed for that.
Yes. I'll still tell you, though, that Zidane's the best player to ever live overall. Because when he stepped on a field, he owned that field. It was Zidane's game.
He was the king.
Oh, there was no one better.
He was the king.
He had a way of just taking over a game and it becoming his game.
Yeah, it became his game.
And he just would win the game.
He would
I don't even understand how.
Yeah,
he would just own the game. Like, I don't even understand how this worked. He carried France literally to a World Cup, and then blew it. And then he blew it.
Literally blew it.
But he made
himself. Got too big.
He made himself a household name
100%
by headbutting that dude. That
and
became
dude,
legendary.
And I think about that now too. Like, I'm sure he did it for a reason.
Yeah,
I'm sure that dude did something just enough.
The rumor was that he talked about his sister or some shit.
I would have headbutted dude if he talked about my
dude,
sister too.
I love that super header, man.
He did it that was so classy. Like if you take any like cheap shot in sports, that's the classiest one.
No doubt.
You know,
Straight to his face.
And also like the amount of stuff that was on the line. That was his last game ever, and it was for a World Cup final.
I can't.
The biggest tournament in the world, and
I can't believe he did it. I can't believe he did it.
I can't believe he did it. 2 decades ago, and we're still talking about it.
I remember watching it live.
That's how legendary that is. I was 6 years old.
I was 17. And I remember watching it at 17 thinking, what the fuck did I just see?
Right.
Like, did I just watch this man superhead this other dude in the chest to the ground? Like, he literally wiped his feet out from under him. You know? Like, the dude was like a plank just going
and
down.
This is before diving culture in soccer, dude. This guy straight up. Foot in the air.
Impressive. Dude, hilarious. But that man was on a mission that World Cup. It was literally his World Cup to win, you know. Man, I go back and I think,
the only athlete I could compare to Zidane is Kobe.
That's
like
fair.
With the amount of like prowess and just sheer like everybody gravitated to that. You know,
they had ways.
Everybody gravitated to Kobe. Everybody gravitated to
Zidane.
Yeah.
No, I agree. 100%. Kobe had a way of taking over games too.
Yeah.
He had a way of
just
captivating a
game.
game.
You look at those two athletes and there's like a gold ring around them.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
Crazy.
It's kind of cool. And when I watch Zidane play and like highlights and stuff now, when I look back, I'm like, this dude was unbelievable.
Just a different breed. Just a different breed. The way that dude volleyed the ball, his one leg could be over there, and this leg is just striking it 70 miles an hour.
Yo, and the touch. 40-yard in the air. And then just tink. Just one touch, tink. It's just right there. Dude, I don't even know how you do that, man.
Insane.
It's really cool. It's really cool to watch people be so. I remember as a kid, I used to be like, they would take a shot and go way off in the corner. I'm like, you're a pro. How do you suck so bad? And now I'm like, adult. And I'm like, the art it takes to be at that level is so impressive that now I can't fault you for any of it.
Like a free throw in basketball, you know, that's a pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
But a free kick outside the 18,
well,
with a 5-man wall that's 10 yards in front of you,
this is a totally different. People don't really understand the difference that soccer really is, and the only way I can describe it to some Americans is, you can go and play football for fun with your friends. You can go play baseball for fun with your friends. You can go play basketball for fun with your friends. Who the fuck plays soccer for fun with their friends? You know why? Because you can't. Because it involves your feet now, and you can't do it, and it becomes the most unfun thing, and you don't want to do it.
No, it's embarrassing when I'm playing
it's
like
not
pickup
fun.
and stuff
It's
with people
not
that
fun.
don't know how to play.
It's not fun. Back in the day, you go play pickup with some people, but like no group of people who don't know how to play football, soccer, get together and go play soccer together. No. Yeah, like they're not going to do that. But like people who don't play football will go play football.
Yep.
Because it's just a ball and you throw it to each other.
Yep.
But in soccer, you have to run and kick a ball. This is totally foreign to people, and they can't do this concept. And then they call it stupid, and they hate it.
Exactly.
You know? Like, it's
I hate that sport.
Yes.
Because you do not have the capacity.
Because you can't
or the coordination.
And you can't just do it in a couple of weeks.
Right.
You have to spend real effort and time to learn how to pull this off.
Like martial arts.
Yes. And it's a language. It's like a language.
Big time.
I can go now somewhere, and I'm sure you're at this level where you can go and see someone just playing with a ball, and you can generally understand the skill level that they're sitting at just by how they move with it, how they interact with it, how they pick it up with their feet and play and juggle, if they do juggle or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you can see there's a coordination and a fluidity to it that some people have.
Yeah.
And then there's not.
It's funny that you brought that up for a second, that it's a language. What other job would you say people are willing to go to a place they've never spoken a language to work there? With people who all speak that language. Like, I'm taking, for example, say I'm a U.S. player, right? Yeah. And I decide to move to, I don't know, Italy to play. You're moving to a country.
Yeah.
And their your boss is not going to be speaking to you in English.
Yeah.
The other coaches that are there are not going to be speaking to you in English.
But it doesn't
but
matter.
you still want to do
Yeah,
it
because you understand soccer.
because you understand soccer because that's a language.
And that's the language you're speaking when you go there. And you understand that's
I mean,
international. That's global.
Yeah,
You
I
can't.
yeah.
You know, we may all want to form sentences differently, depending on what country you're in. But the underlying facts of how the triangles are and how formations work and all of the positions and how these positions run and everything and how people kind of do set plays, it's all globalized now. You're at the World Cup stage, you have to play these things. So everybody just kind of floats in line.
Yep.
So no matter where you go, you generally understand
Yep.
exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, 100% agree, man. Maybe programming.
Yeah.
Because programming, people, well, the only problem with programming that I have is like, we're so far ahead in technology in this country. And some people like to disagree with that, but we're really far ahead. And so most people just come to America for that stuff.
Yeah, but
So no one's really going to other countries for programming
see, that's
very
what I'm
often,
saying.
you know.
Yeah, so that's not the same.
Soccer, you may go anywhere. Anywhere. Dude, you go to China and play maybe, or Japan or Australia or
Dude,
the
I
Middle
would've
East.
gone, I would have gone to Turkey.
It's not all. It's
and
an
I
option.
didn't, like,
That is an option.
sure, like, I could, like, understand tones there, but, like, there was no way I would have been able to talk back to somebody.
Yeah, but when you get on that field,
Oh, dude. All your problems go away.
you don't need to speak.
No, you don't need to talk. Except that was one of my my traits as a player.
But
was
you just need to
communication.
learn the words.
Yeah.
Everything's
Yeah.
very direct speaking.
Yeah,
You
oh,
don't
yeah.
go long sentences.
No.
It's man on
It's
time.
like
you know.
20 words total.
Yeah.
You just yell them.
You know, I got behind you, you
Yeah.
know, to your left, to your, you know, like
Shift.
these, yeah, shift.
Come this way.
Correct. Like these little terms that you just learn the terms.
Do better.
Yeah.
Pick it up.
My bad.
What are you doing?
Yeah. yeah.
Dude, I'll never forget it. When I was playing in Duluth, man, it was the first time I experienced, like, real negative words said in a way that you didn't take it negatively.
Oh, at
Like,
that,
I just
at that
remember
next level.
At that level, it's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
There's such a high standard.
Mhm.
You didn't get offended.
No.
No, but you best believe you were going to get yelled at if you messed up.
You're held to a standard, and they want you to hold them
I
to that
remember-
standard too.
Exactly.
They want to be
Exactly.
held to the same
Exactly.
standard, and they
And so-
expect you to.
Yep.
You know, it's there's
And
a
the ones who don't, like I remember the kids who didn't like scream at other guys when they saw something.
yeah,
They would get eaten alive. Dude,
Yeah.
in training.
yeah,
Because when they didn't do it, it didn't get back to them.
yeah,
So they were just shite.
yeah,
Their teammates didn't even care enough to yell
Yeah.
at them.
yeah.
But I knew every time the center back yelled at me, I knew he cared.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't gonna let me miss that tackle. He wasn't gonna
He
let
doesn't want to
me
let you get away with
make
that.
that bad decision.
He wants to make sure you
He
understand.
makes exactly.
you
exactly.
know, like let's make sure we're on the same page here, man.
Yep.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Let's move on with our lives.
Yeah, and
Be
just,
better.
You know.
Let's take care of this, man. You know, there's a certain level of understanding, and the higher you get into this echelon of talent,
Yeah.
the more of that. I just need to look at you now.
And I even saw that in
You
the
know.
job force too. Like
Yeah.
so, right? I did just a local campaign when I was
Yeah.
in Duluth, Minnesota.
I totally agree with this.
You totally forget this?
No, I totally agree with this.
Oh yeah. And then so that was just local, right? And
Yep.
then when I moved to Denver
Yep.
and I was doing a governor's race
Yeah.
with a consulting firm, like, dude, my boss was a dick.
Yeah.
Why don't you have? You're missing three iPods. You know, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
where are you?
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, whoa. I'm gonna be like, whoa. I'm 18. And this guy's yelling at me, and I like tried really hard. And I was like, well, fuck, all right. And then I started getting a little more stern with my employees, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
And it was just like, but, you know, you got to find the balance.
There's
too.
an understanding.
You
There's
know?
but you have to, first off, you have to earn that.
Yeah.
And then once you've earned it, then there's a understanding and a maintaining of that. You know?
And you can't go too far because the moment you go too far, it's done.
Yes. I've even
done.
seen it in like my
You
programming
lose
world.
respect. Nobody's going to talk to you, you know?
The most important part here is like you're gonna make mistakes. Just own up.
Yep.
Be honest with
Yep.
it. Be cool with it. Accept it.
Yeah.
analyze
Take the consequences, man.
Yes.
If I could say anything to myself that when I graduated high school, it was take the consequences. Don't wait out.
Own up to your actions.
Don't just be quiet about it and drop off the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Take the L, man. Take it. What are you scared of?
We're all terrified of failure and of bad and all this stuff.
Making people unhappy.
Yeah, man, it's horrible. It's not really what should be going on, and like.
But it's because we don't realize how useful it can be to us later.
Yeah.
Because we're too worried about right now.
Yes.
And that's a blessing and
You
a
haven't
curse,
lived
right?
long
Because
enough.
you want to always be present, right? You always want to be knowing about but we get down on ourselves, like, for example, I don't know, you want to go do something, but then you decide not to because you're worried about the future, right? But, you know what? I'm just losing my train of thought. I had it for a second, and then I just...
Yo, that's fair. All right, let's just do a total, 180.
Okay, let's do it.
What do you want to talk about?
You really gonna do that question, man?
That's a really loaded question. Let's talk about something crazy. Let's talk about, like, space and the universe. And
dude, I saw this is crazy.
All right.
Okay.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
If you were a celestial giant, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you could hold, and the world, the Earth was the size of a cue ball to you in your hand,
Mm-hmm.
it would be as soft as an actual cue ball. Think about that.
Why?
Because the further you go out, right, the less these mountains in this looks, right? Because if you go down to something,
Yeah, but if you're actually saying that you're legit holding Earth.
Yeah, legit.
Okay.
Earth was this big.
This is not an Earth-sized sphere. This is a legit Earth.
Imagine Earth was this big, and you could fit in my hand. It would be as smooth as an 8-ball, as a cue ball, whatever.
But I argue that you could never actually hold it because it would just crush into your hand.
Well, dude,
you would
that's not
destroy
what I'm saying, man.
so
Why
much.
you gotta... Dude, it's a hypothetical, all right?
Would it be or would it be bumpy?
No, it would have to be
And like
soft.
wet. Would it not be like really wet? Because like most of the surface of the Earth is like water, right? So like wouldn't it be like wet? When your hand like kind of go into it at places, maybe like sink into it.
Dude, what was the guy that did that stupid space show? He's got some weird name.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where
I love that dude.
That's
love
who
that
told
dude.
me that. That's where I learned that from.
Wait,
okay?
for real?
Yeah. So don't discredit me, dude. I swear. It came from Neil deGrasse Tyson, man.
Dude, I gotta watch this episode, and then I have to call in and ask and be like, "Wait, hold
Wait, does he
up."
do call-ins?
I don't know, but I'm gonna try.
People gotta bring that back, dude.
Oh yeah,
We gotta do some like.
I've already been planning.
Yeah, dude.
Already been trying to figure out how to get. I already know how to get Skype in, but I want to get like true cell phone caller in.
Yeah.
I want you to
get
like
get a
call
number
in.
too.
Yeah, I want you to
And
call
it's
in.
just like people lined up. And you
Yes.
just pick a random number.
Yes.
Always want to do. That's what I
Yes.
want to do with Under the Bunk too.
Yeah, man.
I want to have call-ins on Under the Bunk.
This right here to me would be like a cool, just like we sit down, chat, and then we can have people call in and we just chat about things with
This
them.
could be a separate show.
Yeah. This would be totally cool.
Because we would never run out of content.
No, we could talk forever. And I think people, the thing about the internet now is like people just like listening to people
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
You know, they're enjoying this like, whoa, these are just two regular humans chatting about shit instead of like faces on a TV and
Yeah.
it's all been like groomed for me.
Yeah, it's not groomed.
You know?
Dude. We're in a basement.
Pretty
man.
tell. This isn't
It's-
groomed,
it's not
man.
groomed at And honestly, it's got like a nice aesthetic in the.
I think
Isn't
so. We're getting there, man. The quality's getting there.
Yeah,
We're
it's
still
inevitable.
Yeah.
Dude, look at that tripod we got. We're gonna be
Oh,
fine.
dude.
We're gonna be fine.
That's got a leveler on it, man.
Really?
I'm just going off eye on this one. That's got a real leveler. I can actually tell you whether we're actually leveled or not. That I don't know. In fact, I can tell you right now.
I can tell you right now,
it's not.
I can
Well,
see it.
it is and it isn't because like one of them's going that way and then the other one's going
Yeah.
the other way to
Yeah.
like level it off, you know? Like
Trying to even.
I think I was going off of this. So if that ain't level, we're fucked. You know, I don't know how else to say it, man.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
That's good times, man.
Yeah. Very good times. Very good times indeed.
All right, cool. Well, I guess should we call it quits, or you want to keep going?
Dude, what time is it?
I mean,
We can do whatever, man.
it's getting later by the moment. But
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit either way at the moment.
I don't really either.
I'm gonna leave you with a question.
Okay.
All right, and I probably have asked you this before.
Okay.
But just entertain me
All
for
right.
the purpose of the show,
Okay.
because it's like my favorite question to ask people.
Okay.
You get a pill, and this pill will let you live 1,000 years. All right, and at the end of the 1,000 years, it wears off, and you just live the rest of your life. So you're gonna live at the current age that you take the pill. So if you want to wait 5 years, go ahead, but you're gonna live at that age for 1,000 years before it wears off, and then you just live the rest of your life off as a normal human being, and you die of old age or whatever it is. But during that time period, you cannot die of anything except for like external force trauma. You know,
Okay.
like a car wreck can kill you,
Yeah.
but cancer cannot.
Yeah.
You know, would you
Okay.
take the pill? And why or why not?
No. And here's why. I have met so many adults, like over 40, 50, that have inspired me, like really changed my life. Things I've learned from these people that I don't think I would hold that off for 1,000 years.
Wait,
I
what,
wanna-
what do you mean?
I mean, I want to experience
Death?
not only death, man, but the development that happens in a normal human's life. And I feel like that would take away from that.
Wouldn't you be... So you want to experience yourself.
Yeah.
Because in reality of things, you could study it for 1,000. Memory.
You will have so many people in your life die
Yes.
and
Over...
watch them
and,
die.
oh,
People
you're going to see their whole life.
No, I
You'll
wouldn't
see
do
them as a baby.
That would be too traumatic.
You'll
for
see
me.
them as an adult. You'll see them die throughout their whole life, and then it'll move on, and then that will be like 300 years ago.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't do that. That'd be too much trauma in my
You know what I'm
life.
saying? Like, this
No,
would
I
be
couldn't do-
really... The
could not
amount
do it.
of this would be what... This thought is the only reason I don't know if I could take it, because
Yeah.
it would be... I think I would have to go off in exile for like 1,000 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or... There's one other thing there's an external that I brought into the mix
Okay.
to say that I think I could pull that one off, and that's if you let me do it with someone else.
That's where I would do it.
I think my
would do it.
wife and I could could do it
Yeah,
with her.
yeah,
I could
yeah.
deal with all the other shit, knowing the two of us are like
As long as there's somebody with me. Man.
Yeah.
I'm too.
But
I'm too
doing that alone,
I'm too
man?
extroverted, man.
ooh, that'd be tough.
It'll be so tough, man.
That would be tough.
I wouldn't be able to tell anybody anything, you know.
Nothing.
I wouldn't be able to get vulnerable. That's one of the things with me, man. The older I've gotten, the more I've realized how important getting vulnerable is.
Well, it's
And
because
like that's such a
yeah.
big issue with men.
Mhm.
Like, dude, men don't want to talk about their stuff. Like, dude, I told you a story about hemorrhoid, dude.
yeah,
Dude, a year ago, I would have never. A year ago, nobody knew that story
Yeah.
except for my mom.
yeah.
You know, and
It's
then
crazy how far that comes.
a year ago, not
Yeah.
not even a year ago, dude.
And like, why? Who
and then I
cares?
just started. I told my friends, and then
Like, who cares?
told other people. Got a couple laughs out
Yeah.
of it. And I was
Yeah.
like, that is a pretty funny story.
Own
you know?
it.
Yeah,
Own
Own
that
it.
shit. You know,
dude. I'll
Like-
tell you something else, man. When I was a kid,
you about to get low down, people.
I swear to God, man, I thought I had 3 balls, and that one day I like witnessed one of them go up and never came back down.
What?
Swear to God, that's the way my
What?
memory has it.
What?
Yeah. I think I
That's
just like
hilarious.
it was when I was like still living in Saudi, when I was like child.
Yeah, so you were young. You were real young.
and I guess I just touched my balls, I guess, and thought
I think you
one
were-
day that
yeah.
I had 3,
Yeah. You're
and then convinced myself I had 3.
and I
There's
bet
only
one
2
went
now.
up.
One's gone.
And
Still
the-
have 2.
I'm sure one went up at the time though, but then like came back down or something,
and
you
I-
know, and it
and
like
I-
tricked you.
And
You
and I
know?
remember one time being like, thinking to myself, I really want to know if like other people have 3 balls.
Interesting.
Because I had convinced myself like everybody had 3 balls. You only have 2.
When did you realize? Or are you
I
still
think-
are
I
you
think
still
I-
dealing with
no,
this in your
dude.
head to this day?
No,
I had 3 balls.
I think I just convinced myself that was too ridiculous.
That's
and that
fair.
I needed to chill
You
out.
needed to just let that one go.
I
Hey,
needed to just.
how self-aware
I
are you
got
actually?
I got to like 15 years old, and I was like, "We're good, man. we can let that one go."
Holy shit, that's so good, dude. That's so good. All right, then I'm gonna have to let you know this one about me.
Okay,
I've
cool.
told my wife this, but I
Alright.
think she may be like one of the only people I've ever told this to. But like when I was a child, like real young, I thought everybody just had a penis, and like then I was like, how do women suddenly not have a penis anymore? Because I found out one day like women don't, you know. So then I thought like, well, they were born with it, and then it like shrinks into nothing. Where does this come from? Like, I thought it like sucked back into you know? Can't just, I don't know, man.
Wait, what about? Did you like not have like a sexual education class
Dude, I was like
in middle school?
5.
Oh, how long did you
6.
believe that?
I don't know. It had to have been until at least like 7, maybe 8, maybe 9, maybe 10. You know, I don't really know. I just know eventually I realized, oh, you're just bored with it. That makes so much sense. I can't believe I couldn't grasp that concept. As a child, I believe, well, I was born with it, so they must have had to have been born with it too.
Uh-huh.
Mine just kept growing, I guess, and theirs shrinks in. I don't know, man. My little brain at the time couldn't grasp anything, you know?
Yeah.
What a weird time. Kids.
Now that we're talking about this, I think I really know why Aang really became my first favorite dog.
Okay, interesting. I hope it's not sexual.
No. What?
I saw his penis,
Oh no!
and I just knew.
It's the first unneutered dog
Yeah,
I
he
ever
was
saw.
unneutered.
No. When I was really little, right, we used to come to America in the summers, right, because my grandparents on my
Okay.
mom's side lived here, and it was way too hot in the summers in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
It would get to like 120 degrees Fahrenheit. We
That's ridiculous.
would come here, and then the next door neighbor to my grandmother's had Chihuahua. First off, it was an annoying Chihuahua.
Most
Nothing
are.
like Aang.
Most are.
Nothing like Aang.
Yeah.
But my sister convinced me they were poisonous. And like if you got bit by one, you would like go to the hospital.
Yeah, that's
She convinced me that it was a poisonous like
Sister I know. Miriam?
Yeah.
Miriam did this to
Yeah,
you?
she convinced that she was an X-Men.
Dark.
When me and my brother were
dark
really little,
shit.
she was
Dude.
really, I mean that's why she was so good at acting,
I
dude.
did not know
She
Miriam.
was a theater major. She was really good
I
at
did
acting.
not know her.
Really good at acting.
Well, now I have to get to know her better.
Yeah, she's so cool.
So she
Yeah.
convinces you of this, of a dog.
She convinced me that, and still to this day, she denies it. Like, if you ask her, she says no. Like, she says she didn't do that. There's no way she did that. But I know for a fact, I was convinced that dog was poisonous, and no one else would have done it except for her.
So it's almost like it's almost borderline conspiracy theory.
Yeah, that's why I became a conspiracy theorist when I got older.
Yeah, I believe it, dude. That's
Because I was lied to as a child.
that is hilarious, man. Wow. All right. So then,
Yeah, but then Aang came around and he was like this sweet thing, and I knew he wasn't poisonous.
yeah, you're like, what?
But I think by that point,
Yeah.
I had.
So people really don't over there. They don't have dogs as pets at all.
Only like the really, really nice ones.
Weird.
Like Cavalier or those,
Yeah, it's not
those
like common
those
culture.
dogs that are really just incest dogs.
Yeah,
Because like if
that's
a
actually
dog
what
is
he is.
if a dog is a purebred, like
They're
they
incest
were
dogs.
incest.
He's
dogs.
a purebred Chihuahua, so he's a little incest
Little
bug.
incest dog.
Mhm. He's for sure.
Dude, you know what's funny? Oh man, this might be a hot take. Okay, I have family in Jordan. Okay,
Uh-oh.
dude, there's people can say what they want about Alabama, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen both,
Yeah.
right? Seen some incest people in Alabama.
Yep.
Can't deny it.
Yep.
All right. They look the same.
Yep.
And I try to be. This isn't true judgment. You know, it's not a bad thing. They look the same. It kind of makes sense they do, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's coming
yeah,
from
yeah.
the same blood.
Yeah, yeah.
But in Jordan, like I saw so many people that I was like, did I see them yesterday when I was here?
So like you think it's
Like old lady, like a bunch of old ladies that look exactly the same.
So do you think it was like a thing then over there?
Dude, I mean, they marry their cousins out there, no problem.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I'm not like blood related to the Jordanian side.
I feel like this was a very common thing in our history that we
Dude,
just, like,
all over the world, dude. It's not just
Yeah.
these two sides of the world.
Yeah. I feel like that. I don't think people would have cared or even understood.
Dude, royalty used
Yeah.
to do incest to keep their bloodline. What?
That's so strange, dude.
What?
I don't
How?
imagine for a moment going back like 2,000 years and then trying to like live back until now. Now, let aside all of like the
Dude,
let aside all the
have
like
you
the gotta learn the
seen-
languages and blah blah. Let all that
have
go.
you seen that Seth Rogen movie where
Year one. That's not Seth Rogen, is it? That's Jack Black.
so it's Seth Rogen, okay?
Yeah.
And he's just like I think he's like an app developer. Okay. And the beginning is this guy in like the new American immigrant, okay, from
Yeah.
I think from Germany. This is like I want to say 1800s. And he wants to like better his family and whatever. So he works at a pickle manufacturer or whatever.
Yeah.
Pickle company.
Okay.
And he falls into the jar of pickles and they seal it. And he like is perfectly preserved. Okay?
Seth Rogen.
And then it's like flash forward to 2020 and like this guy just like pops out of this thing and he's fully preserved
Okay.
and he's like is now in like the modern age.
Okay.
And it's Seth Rogen plays both of these characters.
Oh, interesting.
It's on I think it's on HBO.
What
And
is
like
this called?
man, it's in my I'll send it to you. It's in my
Okay.
HBO. It's
Okay.
in my list on
Okay.
HBO. But dude, I'll watch that movie 10 times over.
Well,
So good.
Might be watching that later.
So good.
Okay.
I'll be sure.
I need something new because I just watched The Queen's Gambit. Now I'm dying for some new good content.
Dude, everybody I know loves Queen's Gambit.
Unbelievable story. It's like a true story. It is. It's so good, and that girl that plays that character
Mhm.
is that girl.
Mm.
She is that character.
Mm.
Like she owns that character. I
Yeah.
don't. It's like it's just really. It's a really well put together show all around.
Do you like sitcom like Office, Parks and Rec stuff?
Yeah. I don't really like. It's one of those things that I've never watched any of those all the way through like I have
Really?
a Game of Thrones.
Uh,
But I have seen almost every episode of Friends and The Office and Community and Scrubs and you know what I'm saying? Like
nice.
I've seen the Parks and Rec. I've
Yeah.
seen all of these shows. Now Mallory, oh my God, she'll watch some Parks and Rec or like
dude, I want to watch Parks and
The
Rec with
Office.
Mallory.
endlessly.
Dude, I watch The Office every night.
Yeah, that's what she would do.
I really relax.
She gets a
to The
show
Office.
right now. It's the Great British Baking Show.
Dude, okay. Does she like pottery?
I
I
guess.
gotta put her onto this. It's on
Okay.
HBO. It's called the Great Pottery Throwdown. It's the Great British Baking Show, but pottery. It is
weird.
incredible. This is the show I'm addicted to right now.
What?
It's the best thing.
What is it
ever.
about the Great British shit? You know, like
Dude,
how are they doing
It's
this?
anything British is better.
That's true.
Anything British television, any British media is better.
It's funny how much
I
we
love
Yeah.
British. Have you seen The Gentleman?
No, I don't think I've seen
Oh, Matthew McConaughey.
that. No, I don't think I've seen this.
Dude, you're gonna love it.
What's it on?
I'll
look it up, don't worry about it.
Amazon, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe Hulu now.
What's it about?
It's about this guy, Matthew McConaughey, who's an American living in the UK,
Yeah.
and he owns 10 of the largest underground marijuana facilities.
Oh, and he's about to give it up.
And he's about to give it up.
I think I have seen this,
You
but
gotta
I
watch
don't.
again.
Yeah, I need to watch
Whatever
it
you
again.
do,
I need to
watch
watch
it
it
again.
again. I don't
It is
remember this
so
movie.
good.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Oh.
about now. Okay,
Oh
interesting.
my god, that's one of my favorite movies of 2020.
Okay.
But great pottery throwdown.
I need to give it another shot. Fair enough.
You know, I almost majored in pottery in college.
Oh, interesting.
Dude, I had a sculpture that was in the Birmingham Museum of Art
Wait, for real?
for 9 months, I think.
I need to see this shit. You
Yeah,
need to send
I'll
it to me
I'll
so
show
I
you.
can like put it up on the
Dude,
later.
I have it. It's a sculpture in my house.
Oh, can we bring it and
It's
put it on set?
part of it's broken, but yeah.
Can we have it on
I
set
have
here?
a couple sculptures I can bring over here.
Yeah, dude, let's put that
Dude,
shit on set.
I have a dream of like making all the plates, cups, faucets, tiles in my house.
Can you
I've dreamed that my whole since I started potting.
Can you make me a cup?
Dude, I got cups in my house. I don't have a kiln.
Well, how much?
I need to find.
How much is a kiln?
Like a lot of money, like thousands.
Can we call Mama J?
Dude, we could. She would totally do
Doesn't
it.
she have one?
Yeah. She's got glazes too. She would totally help us out.
Yo, maybe we need to do this. Yo, we need to get her on here and let her chat us up. Have a good conversation with her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. She's been on the parent side of youth soccer.
Oh man.
That's a
Now
fun
that
conversation.
is a good point. To get a parent from the parent side
Yeah.
that actually understands
Dude,
that
you gotta
world,
have my mom on too, man.
your mom would be
And
fantastic.
my mom, you know, she's in the medical world now too.
That's true.
Dude, that woman's a rock star. She got promoted every year, and she'd only worked. So I think she's gotten promoted every year for the last 3 years, and she's
Yeah.
only been working in the medical field for 3 years.
Damn.
Doesn't even have a medical degree.
What does she do in there?
She's she was patient care technician
Okay.
to start, and then she became a nurse manager,
Yeah.
and now, I mean, I don't want to, say something that I don't know
Off,
is
yeah.
completely true, but
Yeah, fair.
she does a lot of scheduling for doctors.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I'm in there where she's working now. 'Cause she works, really from home every day.
I was gonna say
now.
probably from home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Most industries. That was the silver lining, in my opinion, of 2020 was that we all get to start working from home.
I think there's so many silver linings people can take away from 2020.
I agree. I agree.
Everybody knows it sucks, right? Okay, that's
Yeah.
up front,
No.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody knows.
That's what
it's
we're
awful.
calling silver
Okay?
linings. So we got to find
But-
some good out of it.
But
you know?
hold
like-
on for a sec.
Yeah.
So many. We've learned so many things, man.
Yeah.
We saw what it can do very quickly. Within not even a month, we saw what it could do when we drive cars less.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
saw the emissions go down. We could see LA from a distance. It wasn't fog anymore.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
We saw what we could do. The earth heals itself.
Yeah.
We stop fucking with it.
Yeah, but I'll also argue that we're too small and it's too large.
True.
It produces way more than we ever could, and it
What do you mean?
It when it comes to any gas we produce, it's producing it. It produces all this shit anyways
Yeah.
too, at super large levels. And it's consuming them too.
Mhm.
And so there's a part of me that says when it feels an imbalance, this earth is a living thing to some degree. And when an imbalance of one pops up, it gets consumed by another.
Yep.
It just takes, we're talking about astronomical years,
Mm-hmm.
not human years. We are but a blimp, a dot so small on the history of this earth that it is not even, you can't grasp how small that dot is.
It's really interesting you bring that up. Do you think our generation has put too much on their plate?
Yes.
Do you
absolutely.
think we're trying too hard?
Yes, by far. By far. I think that
Fascinating.
humans are making some kind of an impact? Sure. Do I think it's actually going to destroy Earth and matter? To tell me that we're going to destroy Earth in 10 years?
Yeah.
Do you even know what you're talking about
Yeah.
right now? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
We are not doing
Yeah.
that to our Earth. Is it going to get hotter? Maybe. Is that the worst
Our
thing in the world?
ocean's
No.
gonna
Rise? Maybe.
rise?
Guess
Probably.
what? They've changed.
Yeah.
We know this.
The science is all like that's the thing. There is these truths in the science.
Yes. Yes.
So you can research,
Yes.
but you can't. I think that's really
You
far
can't-
too pessimistic.
Yeah.
To say that it's like we're all gonna die by 2030.
No,
So ridiculous.
dude. That's
Life is gonna
it's
move
actually
on.
harmful. I think
It's
for people to be doing that. You know,
Yeah, you become an anxious. Like you
It
know,
makes
people
people-
today have way more anxiety as it is.
it fuels this political shit that's dividing our country,
Yeah.
and it's not
Big
good. Do I think it will make things worse? Like, really, it's not about worse and better. Will things change?
Yeah.
And that's really where I come from. And things have always changed,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe in our 100-year of documentation of things, they haven't quite changed like you want them to change.
Yep.
And now we're starting to see some change. And so now people are freaking out, you know? And I don't think any of this is going to be drastic to where we all die, but will a coastline of some place need to be readjusted? Maybe.
Yep.
Because guess what? We have seen history show the ocean levels change drastically all over the world.
And like, what were ice ages and stuff like that?
We just came
They're
out of one.
inevitable.
We just came
They're
out of one.
inevitable.
And they'll come back.
Nature does stuff.
When the CO2
We can't
levels...
be scared of it either, too.
No.
It's like, I'll be honest, it's so easy to. I get scared, dude. You know how many? You know how scared of 5G I was right when I heard about it, dude. I was like,
You were part of that whole
they're gonna
crowd?
change my DNA and it's gonna. Oh my god!
It's just Wi-Fi. It's just super fast Wi-Fi.
I mean, obviously, electromagnetic frequencies are not good for us, but you can do stuff as a human.
Yeah, but we have we're
to
producing
prevent-
our own electromagnetic field.
Yeah,
and
as
it's
long as you
and it's supposed to be blocking this.
do the right things, you know. But if you're eating processed foods all day long,
You still are producing one as a living being.
but it's you have
Is it as strong? Are you as strong? You could debate that. Sure, I can go with that. You know, but you're still producing one.
I do think cancer is going to continue to become more prominent. And I'm not going to completely blame that on 5G. That's
No.
not what I'm going to do.
No.
But
Does it help? Probably not.
Mm.
Does eating processed foods help us?
does having
Absolutely.
your phone right by your balls every day help?
No.
It's like having a microwave on your...
Damn it.
Honestly,
No.
I tell you something. I started taking some supplements.
Yeah.
You know, to help. Right when COVID hit, I was like, I would rather. Like, right. So holistic medicine, right, is you take it so that you don't get sick.
Yeah.
Pharmaceutical medicine, I think, is you
Reactionary.
take it after you get sick.
One's reactionary and one's
So-
proactive.
Exactly. So when COVID hit, I was like, started researching stuff to help my immune system, stuff to better my respiratory system.
Yeah.
Because these are things that
Yeah,
you know
it's
are
pretty
not
much
gonna
well
be-
known now that if you
Yeah.
take things like zinc and
Vitamin
stuff and vitamin
D.
D, that you are helping up your ante against COVID.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I started taking some stuff, and then started doing a bit more. You know, I guess you can call it self-care, but like conscious thinking and becoming more aware in myself and my surroundings. Dude, I started like, if I like have my phone here, I will feel my body will literally tell me no,
Yeah.
like by pain through
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah. You feel
I'll, like,
a
like-
tingle or
Like
a feeling
yeah,
or
like
something.
I feel
yeah.
like somebody just flicked me
Yeah.
in my balls. I'm gonna be like,
yeah.
oh, no, that's why. And then I'll move my phone, and it's like done.
And-
Dude, my subconscious starts like
See,
it's
and
gotten so much stronger.
that's what I'm saying. Is that your brain reminding you, or is that like a real thing?
Yeah, who knows?
You know, and you're
Probably
just more,
both.
You're more in
Could be
tune with
both.
it. You know,
Could be both.
it's very interesting to me because, like, I do think there is something to all of this, and I have gotten worried at like the amount of things we're throwing around our bodies at all times is getting worse and worse as we get older and older. And is this really good for us? Now, I'm on the belief system that I think we're going to end up merging with technology eventually and becoming cyborgs anyways. So we're really just going to be, I don't know who said it. I don't want to take credit for this one, but someone said humans will be just become the reproductive organ of our future, you know, cyborgs. Because computers can't reproduce. So they're just going to use us to do it.
Yeah.
And it's such a weird thing. But, like,
Ah.
totally see it.
Ah.
At some point, we're going to have
Really
to
hope
merge.
I'm dead.
You will be dead. Yes,
I
you will be
really
long
hope-
dead. Yeah.
I really don't want to be a part of that.
Unless medicine gets to a point where we can just, like, really, we got to get past cancer. If we can't get past cancer,
I
clearly
think the
humans
reason
have
why we
hit
can't
a
get past cancer is because we keep doing unnatural things.
I think
Processed foods, man.
I think cancer is an inevitable thing that we're just making worse. I think the rates are worse, no doubt, because of it. But I think this is a natural. We have made it to another health barrier where we couldn't get past diseases at some point. They were just wiping us out, man. Just normal diseases. We're just killing us off. And we could not get past this. We finally come out with penicillin. We finally come out with modern medicine. We finally had to start taking care of this. And now we can actually keep people alive. We're hitting another barrier of medicine. And that is like cancer and catastrophic diseases that we cannot, Parkinson's, and things that we can't really like manage, but they destroy you. They just eat you alive. Yeah. You know? And until we can get past, and I think processed food and going to McDonald's is diabetes and cardiovascular problems were non-existent before fast food. Now suddenly we have 1 million people dying a year to heart-related problems due to weight. This is not good. This is our number one killer. Yep. And no one's really chatting about this. We want to talk about COVID. Let's talk about McDonald's, people, because that's really killing you. It's really killing all of us. And I think that has a lot to do with the cancers. And I think that has a lot, I think a lot of the things we do, drinking soda every day cannot be good for me. Smoking anything for people. These things cannot be good for us. They cannot be, The air we breathe in that's toxic, it's crap in these really condensed cities.
Looking at computer screens all day.
Yeah, not good. There's a lot of things, man.
So much.
It's just managing all of this, But I do think that, yes, we're just creating more cancer, sure. But until we can find a way to get past it, we're stuck.
Pick your vices.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly
You can have a couple.
Yes.
But make sure you hold it down on those other areas.
Yeah. Well, I think eventually you won't have to worry about any of this because you can just go buy a new pair of lungs or take a pill and your cancer's gone.
You always bring this stuff up and
that
freaks me out.
That's the future, man. Yeah, well, they'll just print you out a new pair of lungs and you're good to go. From your own DNA. This is already being done. I mean, we're doing this already. It's not science fiction.
No,
this is
not.
This is reality. It's just nuts to me to think about that. Like probably at one point in time, more generally anything will be taken care of. Dude, they can put something on your head and you can control a wheelchair that you're sitting in.
What?
You don't need to do anything. You just think about going forward and you go forward.
God,
okay?
That's terrifying.
This is going on right now, So like we're being able to build devices that will help people walk again who are truly paralyzed.
Wow.
Because they'll be able to just essentially they just skip that little break in the spine and they just let the wiring take place differently. You can tell it by thinking it, and it sends out your brain sends out a signal, dude. Oh. And we just need to intercept that signal and figure out how to talk with it. That's it. You can control whatever you want at that point, and people are doing it, dude. We're figuring it out. That's the crazy part. Like, you just think about wanting to walk forward, and the fucking thing goes forward. It's that simple. Wow, that's crazy to me. So like, yeah, man, we're on the forefront of some crazy shit. We're like, we won't cure. I don't think we'll ever cure cancer. I think we'll just take it out of your body.
Dr. Sebi cured cancer and took it to the U.S. Supreme Court and won.
Who?
Dr. Sebi. We talked about this earlier.
Oh, dude, I need to look deeper into this.
You need to.
For sure.
He's what's created the alkaline diet.
Oh, interesting.
His, obviously, I'm no scholar by any means.
Yeah.
So, don't mark my words here, but he believed that the overarching cause to disease was mucus. And what his idea is remove anything that's mucus producing and replace it with things that prevent mucus and kill off mucus. And that is how you...
What does he think, like, mucus, holds the toxins that end up killing you, essentially?
That end up causing your body to stop fighting for itself. And then that's what leads to a cancer cell, right?
Yes.
Is when your body's like, fuck, can't do this anymore. Boop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So...
God, nuts.
He took it to the... He cured AIDS. For 30 people, I think.
By what?
By doing what?
By changing their lifestyle, like they diet, just diet, like diet change, like total like detox cleanse. He had this place, I think he was Honduran.
Yeah.
And it was just like you would like go there for like a couple months.
I'm gonna have to look into this because I don't know anything about it really.
And then
This part of it.
he was killed in custody. Well, died of pneumonia in custody. But this guy literally like cured disease. Like so many people have diseases.
So maybe they. I mean, look.
And he died of pneumonia in custody.
Can we really say that it's far-fetched that there's a big pharma and it would be willing to kill someone who had discovered the cure to cancer?
Far.
Is that far-fetched to you?
Ah, by
'Cause
no means.
There's no way that's far. I guarantee you that's happened multiple times.
Yes.
I'm not saying for cancer
mean,
alone,
why
but
do you
like
think,
for
like,
something, you know,
Why do you
like
think holistic medicine is frowned upon in the medicine in like if you go to any family care physician whatever and you're like, hey, I take ashwagandha for my anxiety,
yeah,
they're like, no, let me prescribe you Prozac.
yes. It's
When
true.
ashwagandha has side effects that include like it helps in digestion. It like if you're if
Well,
you have
look,
if like
we already
was-
know the FDA and all of that is so corrupt.
Yeah.
And people always say like, well, if we didn't have the FDA, they'd just put all these drugs that kill everybody. But you know what I always argue, and I love when I hear my brother because he's in medicine. He's arguing this whole thing like, what about all the drugs that they haven't allowed that could have saved people's lives? Are those deaths on your plate then too? So let's make sure we look at both sides of the picture here,
Yep.
people,
Yeah.
because you may be killing people because you're thinking that you're saving them, but really you should have been letting out these.
killing them long term, dude. You think about chemo.
I think
You kill every cell
so
in
corrupt.
that person's body.
it's so corrupt.
How? Why?
Well,
Just to
yeah.
kill a couple cells?
And I watched my grandmother die from like doing chemo.
Yeah, I watched both of my
Yeah.
grandparents
Like it's
go
it's,
through
It's
chemo.
a
And
crazy.
then
Yeah.
they didn't die because of cancer. No, they died because their lives,
They usually die from something else. You don't die from
Post-chemo
cancer,
life.
you know, like you end up getting beaten to a death from all the other shit you do, and then you die from like pneumonia. You know, you get something random because your body can't fight anymore. It's been beat to
it
death.
has no cells that
Yeah,
do
yeah.
good things anymore. Like, I think my grandfather's white blood cell count was like at 15.
Well, radiation therapy is literally nuclear
Nuke.
zapping your body. Just nuke the shit out of it. Just zap the fucking kill everything.
If anything,
Total scorch earth.
nuclear war.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Chemotherapy,
It's nuts, dude.
man.
It's nuts.
When there's a guy who got killed in custody for curing people of that, instead,
Yeah,
chemotherapy became popular after his death.
yeah. Look, I
Like,
think
more
I
popular.
really think like genetic therapy and genetic like science and changing things on a genetic level and a molecular level
Mm-hmm.
and sending in like nanobots and shit. Things like that, that's what's really going to help this whole cause. Otherwise, what do you really do? If cancer spreads and it reaches another part and attacks another cell type and that cell type takes off, you know, in another part, it's done, dude. Like, what do you do? All you can do is then start zapping it to try to just calm it down.
Yeah.
You know, like that's all they're doing. They're just helping you live longer.
Yeah.
The chances of survival at that point are just astronomically low. You know, you either cut that shit out or you're probably too late.
Yeah.
You know,
Man, such a dark topic.
dude, it's dark as shit. This is why I say
Dude, we went from chips in our brain and becoming electric to golly, man.
it'll keep going too. Yo, we need to do this like every little while.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
But yo,
Let's end on, we'll end something happy, right?
yeah,
We're gonna do this more. That's
Okay,
happy.
that's happy. I was gonna say, what are we ending on happy here? Because I don't
He's
think
like,
that
"God,
was.
I don't
it.
want to talk anymore. Why are we gonna talk about something happy now? No, we're just gonna do this more.
Yo, for real, we should just whenever we have the time.
Yeah. This shouldn't be something we need to like
I'm gonna say
have a schedule.
I'm gonna call it a special episode because it'll be done multiple times. Special episode with Slim.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. These are just cool conversations about nonsense.
Nonsense, dude. We talked about youth soccer, becoming robots, and cancer. Couple other things too.
Yeah, we dabbled in some other shit in there. We talked
Childhood
about holding Earth and child.
traumas.
Yeah. You living over in another country.
Yeah.
I thought girls were born with penises.
Yeah.
It's really kind of.
I got a hemorrhoid.
You got a hemorrhoid, and then we're ashamed to talk about it for years.
And thought I had 3 balls.
Oh shit, dude. All right, for real though, like when you come Wednesday, we need to do I want to do something for the TikTok shit.
Yeah, we can work on that.
I would like to do that.
I think John and Alexios are gonna do better with that. It's like
Who?
I've been trying. John Alexios, Green New World.
Oh, okay. I
Shout out
gotcha.
Green New World.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to get off of it,
The TikTok world.
dude.
I'm not touching it.
I
I realize
honestly,
I'm not
every
touching
time
it.
I think about it, I start to get nauseous. Like it's really bad.
It's
It's terrifying.
It's not.
It's
no.
terrifying that they know exactly what I want now. Cause like since I got it a year ago. The algorithms are dangerous.
I know. It really kind of
Keep
worries
giving
me.
me new artists that I want to listen to.
We need to not
It's like-
dive into the social media conversation because this one is a dark one, man.
Dude, if anything,
It's
dark.
real dark.
Dude, the amount of brain cells that could have been formulated in these kids' brains that just didn't happen because they wasted so much time on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, whatever.
I did one thing in my life, Slim, that I think is probably the best thing that I ever did to start the revolution that took place in my life. And that was not delete my account, but just delete it from my phone and
Yeah.
get off of Facebook and Instagram and social media platforms in general.
Yeah.
And only have them in the background.
Yeah.
And that it was hard. This was not easy. I was highly addictive. I've been on social media since 2004 when it first came out. When Facebook first arrived that first year,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like the first month it was allowed for high school
Dude, you know,
students. I was on
I
it.
tell people that story. Those are one of the first stories you told me.
What?
That you were one of the first people on Facebook.
Yeah, I was one.
So many people are back.
I was among the first people on Facebook in high school, like legit. It was the first month it came out. I got an invitation from someone to get on in 2004, and it came out in 2004 or
So
2003, I think. And I got it in 2004. It was the year after. I think it was like they came out, and then it was late that year, in like October or whatever. But it was only for college. And like we're talking about, like only Harvard had it first. And then they kind of expanded, and then finally they went like, all right, let's go to high schools. And it was that month. It was like September or some crap. And like it blew up. You had to have an invitation to get on it, you know? Nuts. But like I spent a lot of time on there, man. And I really love the days before you let parents on it because you could just say whatever you want. And still, like if you went and searched me on Facebook and you went back and looked at some of my history, you'd be like, dude, I can't believe you're talking like this in some of these comments. And you're like, yeah,
Dude, if you go to my Twitter.
Yeah.
I got a Twitter when I think I was like 11.
Yeah.
Dude,
Fine.
I was like, the first tweet, I think it was all caps. Frick you, Auburn turds. All caps. Like, so I was like, I don't know who I was lying to. Like, I liked Alabama football. I didn't give a shit.
You don't realize.
But like
That's there
people around me
forever.
liked it.
Yeah.
Liked Alabama football, so I was like, cool. Like,
Yes.
this is gonna sound cool. Brick you, Auburn turds. All
Yes.
caps.
Yes.
Just.
Dude, that's the one part about social media that does crack me up is like you'll get to see the progression of your life.
Oh, dude, but it's so cringy, man.
I was a junior in high school when it came
It
out.
is the definition of like, like, dude, I used to tweet from my flip phone. I had a contact in my phone that was Twitter, and I would just, these wings are dope. Just like at Applebee's, eating some wings, take a picture, send it to Twitter. I remember Chef Slimy took a picture of ramen I made when I was like 12. Like, God.
Because you don't realize that it's there forever.
No, I can look at that right now, and I did that when I was
Forever.
12 years old.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I see pictures of me in high school and I think, wow, this is so strange.
Ah,
Can't believe I put these on there. I've gone and tried to delete some things, but can't delete everything.
dude, one of my biggest fears is like everything you've done on the internet gets shown to the public.
Oh, man, that's a South Park episode.
Dude, I'm so terrified of that.
There's a South Park episode
I'm
of this.
so terrified.
Where
of
like
that day.
all your darkest things get
Yeah.
like revealed or
'Cause,
whatever.
I mean, it's all on there.
Yeah.
It's not like
Well, the problem with it is that I mean, I can tell you like the complexity of how that would even be pulled off is astronomically hard because it's so anonymous most of the time.
Yeah, I know. I just still.
But like,
I still
totally
freak out
agree.
about it.
I totally agree.
Like
with
one
you.
time, I like woke up because I had a nightmare. I was like, holy fuck. I gotta delete my.
Now I'll
I
be
gotta
like,
delete my this. I gotta delete my
I've
that.
spent a lot of time understanding how to become totally hidden and anonymous on the
See, that's why you're my friend, right? Because you're gonna teach me this stuff.
whatever you want to
I
know.
mean, you taught me crypto, and that's the first step.
I'm telling you, you can literally be anywhere you want in the world and be
yeah,
anything you
yeah.
want. You need to read or listen to or research about Kevin Mitnick. This is insane.
Okay.
I read this book called Ghost in the Wires,
All right.
and he was on FBI's most wanted list at one point for his hacking. All right,
Okay.
he's regarded as like one of the greatest hackers of all time. In fact, in like what he even says in the book, he wrote this book himself, and he's like really hacking to me is more about social engineering, and like you social engineer people into giving information to you, and then after that you just use your hacking skills to go from there. Now at the same time, he was able to hack into systems because he learned that he could dial into like this is before like full on internet, and he would be like in the 70s or something, or the 80s or whatever, and he would have to get a dial-up connection, and he would call a phone like the Bell South company or whatever, and then his friend understood. There's a story he tells about it. It's insane. Could make the exact same pitch of a sound that the number needed to be to connect yourself into their system that normal phones couldn't do. Only certain managerial phones could do this. Had this button for this sound because that's how these systems work back then. Your phone makes an auditorial sound when you press a button that then it's triggered on the other end. Because of the sound. That's
Insane.
that's
That
how
makes
these
so
work.
much sense.
So each button had its own distinct auditorial sound to it. So his friend knew how to make one of those sounds to then get into like the system's managerial system of it, and then he could get into that next level of dude, intense shit that he could pull off. And like my favorite story is that he got cut off one day in the car, and he was so mad about it that he got behind them, got their license plate. He would do serious research, and he would know who in the DMV he wanted to talk to. He would know who in a police department he wanted to act like. He knew the credentials and names. He like researched all this out for like, so he had already been doing these hacks through the DMV and shit like that already. So he was like, I'm gonna fucking get this guy's phone number, and I'm gonna fucking call him, and I'm gonna cuss his ass out and freak him out. So he calls the DMV, gets the dude's name and everything, social engineered. He talks about how he did it, social engineers the shit out of these DMV workers, and like pretty much gets this guy's name, and then realizes at this time in my life, this is like back in the 90s or whatever, he was like, there's only 2 cell providers at this time. So it had to be one of the 2 cell providers. So I had a 50-50 shot of getting it right now. So I called the one that was bigger. And I then used that name and acted like I was a cell worker to get the number for the guy. So then I used the name, got the number, and called the guy within like 5 minutes on my cell phone and was like, I'm the motherfucker behind you. And he was like, I'm like a cop or whatever. And if you ever cut me off like that again, I'm going to like come to... Dude, he totally just hacked the shit out of this dude's life in the car, on the phone, while he was following the guy. In just the stories this guy talks about is so impressive how he used to be able to like pretty much hack people's SIM cards, and he would just have free phones.
That's wild.
And he would have to do all this like cat and mouse with the FBI because they're always after him. And like he pretty much talks about how to be totally anonymous, how to learn to be totally anonymous on the internet. And like he pretty much for years they could not find him. It was like a total game. And they later found out that the reason why they couldn't find him is because every time that they would tap him or something, he knew that they were tapping his phone lines because he had hacked the FBI's mainframe. And he was going in and monitoring himself. So anytime anything would come up, he would know and hear about it, and he would just leave the area. Be like, oh, shit, they found me, I'm out. And then he'd just leave. So no matter what, he was always ahead of them because he had already hacked them, and they had no idea that he was just monitoring all their shit all the time.
That's so crazy. Is there not a movie about that yet?
Not yet. No.
How
dude.
recent did this happen?
I mean, dude, this went on, and like, I think he got arrested finally in the mid '90s or early 2000s, and then spent some time in the jail, and then he got, let out or whatever, and now he's like the top consultant for security.
I'm sure
and
he's doing something.
he's a brilliant hacker. This dude knows programming and computer mainframes and shit like that. He could hack into anything, and pretty much never really meant to make money on anything. He just hacked it to hack it.
Mm-hmm.
He just did it because he could do it, to see if he could do it. Yo, it was the most suspenseful book I've ever listened to in my life. I was listening in my car, and all times I was like, "What the fuck is about to happen? Oh my god, what? Like, I can't believe he would like walk into these buildings and act like a worker to get into the server room so that he could gain access to these servers. Like the shit he would do, he was so ballsy, man. It was just like crazy to me. The things he would do, and it was just, I don't know, man. You need to like go listen to some of the stories that Kevin Mitnick talks about, and it's like a whole nother level where you feel like this is like CIA shit. This is like next level CIA shit you're doing here, and like this was just like I was just having fun, I was just enjoying myself. Yo, crazy book, man. All right, insane. I guess we'll end it on that. We'll be done with it.
There we go.
All right, man. I enjoyed this shit.
Much love to everyone who.
Yes,
if you've gotten this far in this,
there's no way.
Hey,
I'm gonna check and see how many viewers we have. But there's
if you've gotten even if you're not watching this live and you got to this part, hey,
that's true.
Good job.
Yeah, that's very true. If you really did watch this one that long, that's impressive.
You're
man.
cool.
We'll be back though. Don't you worry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We'll be back. All right, man. I guess I appreciate you coming on. That was fun.
Yeah, dude.
We're doing this again.
Can't
You'll be
wait.
back Wednesday though, so it's not like
it's not like this isn't goodbye.
It's just getting late.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder how long we can go for.
See you, everybody.